96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very excited to be here. I'm sorry that I was off on Wednesday. I went to St. Louis to go see Kendrick Lamar. Saw all the rain. Did not see the Royals on Wednesday because the game got rained out, but did watch the doubleheader yesterday. We had a little bit of a show yesterday. I don't even know if you can call that it wasn't even an hors d'oeuvre. I don't know what we did yesterday. It was a little piece of a show, but we got a full show planned for you guys today. Really excited to be here. Let me give you the breakdown on what we're going to be doing. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Matt Evans of Channel 9 News right here in Kansas City to get his thoughts on the Missouri special session. That's how we're going to begin today's show. Coming up at 3 o'clock, Josh Vernier is going to be on the show. Jonathan Ketz is going to be on the show, who is also covering the Missouri session. We'll talk a little bit of Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk some about a very exciting game one of the NBA Finals. I am here to tell you right now, anybody talking to me about the television ratings of yesterday's NBA Finals is a goofy to me. I don't know how that can be your concern after we saw one of the great comebacks in NBA Finals history yesterday. You're talking about how many people watch the game on television. Please keep that weird energy away from me. We'll talk about that. There is so much to get into in today's show. Again, my name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here with you guys. It is absolutely beautiful outside. I'm in a good mood. Rob is in a good mood. Really excited to be here. Before we get into the meat of the show today, I need to remind you guys of a couple of things. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. And number two, I need you to tell one friend. I mean, it'd be great if you could tell two friends to check out the show, but you know what? Beggars will not be choosers. If you could just tell one person to check out the show, you know what? I would be thrilled about it. All right, Rob, let's get down to the nitty gritty. It feels like we are coming down the home stretch. You know, I went to the Kentucky Derby earlier this year. You know, when they wound that final bend, and now you get to see the horses that are in contention who can actually win the Kentucky Derby. It is a very exciting time. At this point, all of the information is out there, the special session. So to let you guys in on what's happening, we're going to talk to Matt Evans more about this. It passed in the Senate the first time, or it passed in the House the first time. It didn't pass in the Senate. This time it passed in the Senate, so no reason to think that it just passed in the House a couple of weeks ago. Now it is going to fail in the House. So every expectation is that this thing is going to get passed and that Missouri is going to have a financial package that they have put together to try to keep the Chiefs on this side of state line. Now, I think it is very, very important because there are two roads that we can go down. Rob, let's start with the Chiefs. I feel like it is the much more interesting story out of the two. There are two pathways ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs. For those of you that are wondering, this money is not earmarked for a new stadium. It is earmarked for a renovation of the current structure at Arrowhead. Now, the money that they are going to get, it doesn't pay for all of the renovation. The Chiefs would need to come up with some other money from elsewhere. Now, maybe that's private money. Maybe that is them putting up their own money, or it is potentially us helping pay for the renovations at Arrowhead. If you want to keep it on the Missouri side, we had Jonathan Ketz on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he believes that in November, there could potentially be a vote on if we want a renovation of Arrowhead Stadium.
I mean, I think the Chiefs would love to be untied from the Royals with the county, meaning I think that they would either A, like for the Royals to be in Kansas, B, like we haven't even talked about North Kansas City, B, for the Royals to be there, or C, be at Washington Square Park and no longer getting county sales tax dollars. And something that I have heard, which may be interesting, I mean, I'm wondering if the Chiefs would be willing to be on a November ballot in Jackson County by themselves. I think that's something else that I would love to confirm here soon.
So that was Jonathan Ketz. He believes that the Chiefs could potentially be on a ballot for themselves coming up in the next 5 months. This is a question that none of us have the answer to. That is really the $2 billion question with the Chiefs. What do you guys want? Because at the very beginning of this thing, I'm talking about last year when the 3/8 of a cent sales tax was originally proposed, the Chiefs expressed how much they really wanted to stay at Arrowhead. There is a pathway for them to stay at Arrowhead now. There is a financial package that is put together by the state of Missouri. Now, sure, you're going to need to get up some more money, but with the popularity of the Chiefs and how much people love Arrowhead, and this vote we don't believe would be tied to the Royals in any way, it would then come down to the people in Jackson County, the people of Kansas City, Missouri. Do you want to preserve Arrowhead, or do you want them to go on the other side? That is a question that I don't have the answer to, but I do think it is very important to note. Maybe the Chiefs pass back last April if it's not tethered to the Royals in a downtown stadium. All of the messaging, all of the wording about what happened a year ago was all tied to, I don't want the Royals to move to the Crossroads. It wasn't tied to, we don't want to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. It was more directly tied to, we like where the stadiums are, and we don't know why you want to take the stadiums and now build them directly on top of a very popular neighborhood and a fabric of our city. That is not what this would be. This is, we've come up with half the money as the state of Missouri. Hey, Jackson County, hey, Kansas City, you guys are going to have to pitch in and come up with your own additional funding if you want to do this. I firmly believe that if this is on the ballot, if the Chiefs come back to you with a real concrete plan, this is what we plan on doing with Kauffman Stadium and the space that is no longer going to be there. This is how we think the renovations can help us. These are the renovations that we have proposed at Arrowhead with $1.1 billion of this funding. This is what we think will happen. I believe that will pass. So that's one side of it. The other side is a very simple one. Do the Chiefs want a new stadium? Because if you want a new stadium, then there's no reason to be having this conversation about Missouri. They're not presenting an option for a new stadium. They're presenting an option to renovate this structure that you've told us that you love so much, that if the Chiefs go along with this renovation, it now needs to be in the same conversation with Lambeau. If the Chiefs and the state of Missouri and Jackson County, if they put $1.1 billion back into this structure that was built in 1972, it's really one of the last of its kind. Everybody else has a new football stadium. Everybody else is building a new football stadium. Some of them are building it in the city. Some of them are building it in the suburbs. That's the argument they're having right now with Soldier Field. That's the argument that's happening in Cleveland right now. Everybody has a new stadium other than the Packers. Everybody does. So you got a chance to really put yourself in a very, very unique situation if you want to go the renovation route. But I don't know. So earlier today, Nate Taylor, shout out to Nate Taylor, he was on the midday show and he said this about the possibility of them getting a dome and what it would mean for the Chiefs.
Clark Hunt wants a dome. Like, there's no...
Does he think he can convince the NFL to give him a Super Bowl?
Yes. Guys, they build a dome, they get in the Super Bowl, period.
That was Nate Taylor. I also want to play for you the weight of staying and leaving and what this could mean for the Chiefs.
You know, you can go back to Lynn Dawson. Like, you look at all those games. They all look cold. They all look frigid. It looks awesome, you know. Obviously, we know what the Marty Schottenheimer era was.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, the field was frozen in 1995. That's always been the push-pull with Clark Hunt. Is just like, man, can I really tear down the stadium that my father built? That will be, by 2027, the oldest stadium in the American Football Conference.
Yeah.
The league that, like, he basically founded. And so on one end, they want it to be Wrigley Field. They want it to be the new Lambeau Field, Soldier Field kind of thing. But, I mean, it's a business, guys.
I mean, that's really the debate that now we are having. This conversation, in my opinion, is no longer about star bonds. This conversation is no longer about tax money. they are planning on using your tax money on either side of the state. So I understand if you're thinking, hey, how do we have money to pay for this, but we don't have money to pay for these other social issues? I think you are making a very fair point. That just doesn't matter anymore. If you live in the Kansas City metropolitan area, the Chiefs are not moving out of the metro, and they are going to be taking tax dollars from one side of the state. So we're now just trying to figure out what side of the state. We now have the two doors that the Chiefs can walk past. Do they see their stadium as Lambeau? Do they see it as Soldier Field? Do they see it as something worth preserving and something worth putting $1 billion into and staying on this side of state line for at least another 30 years? Do they see it like it's Cameron Indoor Stadium? Do they see it like it's Allen Fieldhouse? If they see it like that, they are going to go with the renovation route. Or do they want the Super Bowl? Do they want WrestleMania? Do they want the Final Four? Do they want the shiny new stadium and all of the great things that come with having a new stadium? I believe we're going to get our answer very, very quick. If you believe the state of Kansas, and at this point, I don't really know why it would take too much longer if you're the Chiefs. You've had the information about Kansas, and if you want to move over there for almost a year now, this special session just got closed on the Missouri side. So maybe you're trying to make sure a couple of different things. You're trying to figure out some things on this side, but at least your Kansas information and data that needed to be collected, that should have been done a long time ago. The deal is the deal. There is no adding to it. There is no taking away from it. If you want to move over here next to Hollywood Casino, next to Kansas Speedway, you know what it is. So I don't know if this is going to take another 50 days or so. I got a feeling we're going to know prior to the 4th of July. I think we're going to have a really clear picture on what both of these teams are going to do. We'll ask Matt Evans with Channel 9 if he agrees, if he thinks that we are in the final stretches of this thing of learning what the future of the Truman Sports Complex is going to be, the future of the Chiefs, and also the Royals. We got Matt Evans of Channel 9 coming up to tell us everything about the Missouri special session. That's all coming up. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Psst. Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
The summer sale is happening now at Peter's Clothiers. Save from 20 to 50% off on suits, sports coats, and sportswear. Perfect your look with their in-house tailoring. Peter's Clothiers, 124th and State Line Road. Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Meet Viant AI, the world's first fully autonomous advertising platform. With Viant AI, you can automate media planning, analyze results, and drive smarter decisions, all while saving you time and resources. Viant AI helps you unlock new potential and boost productivity regardless of your expertise. Visit Viant.ai today and see how the future of artificial intelligence in advertising can work for you.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your house sitter has the new code first, before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code!
Contacting authorities.
I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast, available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Matt Evans of Channel 9 News. He has been all over this Missouri special session. Matt, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. It's a Friday. It's not a bad day outside. I just got off the golf course. I can't complain.
Matt, let me ask you this question because I'm guessing you've done a lot of great things in your career. Where does coming on the drive rank?
Oh, it's got to be top five, at least. You know, it's not quite flying with the Blue Angels, but it is. I mean, it's up there. It's a good time.
I don't know why you had to say it like that, because like now I feel kind of silly asking you the question. You really trying to flex your resume now. You didn't have to do that.
Hey, you asked that answer.
All right, so let's start with this. What is the number one thing that the public needs to know about this Missouri special session? Let's say that somebody was unaware that this was even going on and they are just finding out about this in the last 24 hours. What should the average Missouri resident need to know about this?
Well, basically it means Missouri is finally answering what Kansas tried to do last year with the stadium. So the special session is not completely over, but that stadium bill has cleared its biggest hurdle by far in the Missouri State Senate. It's heading to the House on Monday, but the House overwhelmingly passed a very similar proposal just a few weeks ago in late May. So they're probably going to send it on to the governor's desk. This was Governor Kehoe's plan in the first place. He'll put his signature on it and likely sign it into law. And what this means is that Missouri is going to have what the teams have called a viable offer before that June 30th deadline that Kansas had. You may remember last year, Kansas put up that big Star Bonds package, up to 70% of a new stadium for the Chiefs or Royals. Come on over to the Kansas side of the state line. The Sunflower State's looking great. And then for pretty much a year after that, it was crickets from the Missouri side, and people were getting frustrated. And this is essentially Missouri's response to Kansas's pitch to the teams. And hearing from team representatives on Tuesday during a Senate committee hearing, both the Royals and the Chiefs said that while maybe the numbers aren't quite as sweet on the Missouri side, the bill in Missouri would pay for up to 50% of stadiums. Both have said that this is a proposal that could work for them and could keep them both in the Show Me State.
Matt, what changed? Because there obviously was strong opposition to this just 3 weeks ago that they needed this special session in order to get this passed. What changed to get this through?
Well, this still wasn't a slam dunk. I mean, it eked through the Senate. You need 18 votes in the Senate to pass a bill. This got 19. So, I mean, it was not a slam dunk by any means. There's a lot of things that were at work in the Senate during this special session. There was storm relief funding for victims in St. Louis. There was capital improvement projects across the state. There were all these things that both Democrats and Republicans wanted in order to also vote for the stadium bill. And we saw on Wednesday, the Senate was supposed to go in at 10 o'clock in the morning. They didn't go in until 5 p.m. because all day there was behind-the-scenes negotiating between senators and the governor's office. And I'll say this is a huge win for Governor Mike Kehoe. He is a businessman by trade, and he worked this deal and did what he had to do to get the votes to get it across, because late in the afternoon he amended his call for a special session to allow some of these other issues that senators wanted to be also passed during this special session. And that probably got him the votes that he needed to get this over the finish line. So there are a whole lot of deal making happening pretty much all the way until the overnight hours, because even then there was a filibuster when this thing was brought up over property tax relief. And then eventually that filibuster broke, and about 2:30 in the morning they wound up passing the bill. But again, it was still a very, very close vote. So really what changed was that there was enough other things out there to get enough Republicans and Democrats to want to vote for this thing, because 10 Republicans and 3 Democrats voted against it. So it was not along party lines by any means.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans, learning more about the Missouri special session. It looks like they are going to pass the bill to help fund the stadium. All right, let's start with this, and then we'll dive individually more into one of the two teams. Which team do you think this bill is better for? Do you think this is better for the Chiefs, or do you think this is better for the Royals?
That's a good question. I think it's good for both of them, but maybe better for the Chiefs because we heard from the teams that they still need local funding, and that this bill includes that too. Like, there still needs to be another vote. A lot of people aren't talking about that, but there still needs to be a vote, whether that's this November or next year. Another vote of the people is going to be required for both of these teams. And it's going to be a lot easier for the Chiefs to get a vote done in Jackson County than the Royals. We just know that. And we also learned a lot more about the Chiefs' plans at Arrowhead Stadium. We learned that they would spend $1.15 billion with a B to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. Also, the Chiefs lobbyist said, the deal might not be as good in Missouri. The numbers might not be there, but no stadium is ever going to be like Arrowhead. He admitted that if they go to Kansas, it'll be a domed stadium. He admitted it'll never be the loudest stadium in the world again. It's clear that the Chiefs love Arrowhead, and they want to try and see if they can make that work. As far as the Royals are concerned, I think it's still a potential good deal for them if they're going to wind up downtown or in Clay County. That's the big question. And again, a public vote is going to be needed, and we saw what happened with the last public vote, which had the Chiefs attached to it too, but a lot of people were really caught up in the Royals' plans of all of that. And then they've polled it out in Clay County as well, and there's been different polls done, and some of those aren't as good as others. So, I mean, I think if the Chiefs are looking at this, they love Arrowhead. This gives them a very clear, easier path to stay there than it was before.
So let's start with the Royals. Do you see a scenario in which the Royals can get a new stadium in Missouri without this having to go to a vote? Because I think you and I agree, and maybe you disagree, where if the Chiefs and Clark Hunt put a really good renovation plan on the ballot for Jackson County in November, I believe that would pass. I'm not really sure if Jackson County is going to vote to give the Royals any money for this thing, so they're going to have to push this through without a public vote. Do you see a scenario in which the Royals get a new stadium in downtown or Washington Square Park without this having to go to a vote?
Potentially. I mean, you could potentially find a way in the county and the city coffers to put up some money. So the way this Missouri bill works, right, it says that there still needs to be significant local funding. Now, it doesn't spell out exactly what that means. So if that's a sales tax, if that's bonds, I don't know. It could be potentially there could be a path there. The Royals lobbyist was not as clear about that. The Chiefs lobbyist was very clear. We're still going to ask Jackson County taxpayers for a vote, and whether that's a full 3/8 cents or if maybe they knock it down a little bit, I don't know. But the Chiefs lobbyist is very clear. We're still going to need a public vote if we're going to stay. The Royals lobbyist was not as clear because they still haven't chosen exactly where they want to go. But I do agree. I think if the Royals have another vote in Jackson County, it's going to be tough to pass. I think the Chiefs vote could probably get done. A Royals vote in Clay County isn't exactly a slam dunk either. So, we'll have to see exactly where they choose. And exactly what the county and the city can offer. And if there's a way to get this done without a public vote, they're going to take it.
One reason why I voted yes the last time that this bill came up, a lot of it was due to the fact of, I live in Missouri, so I don't want the teams to move to Kansas, but it's not the worst thing if they move to Kansas. Another reason is why I believe that sales tax, I believe we're always going to pay it. I believe what's going to happen if the Chiefs stay on the Missouri side is coming up in November or whenever that vote was going to be, that Clark Hunt is just going to simply ask us to give all of that money to him and no longer split it with the Royals. To me, that seems to be the only way to keep the Chiefs in their current structure is what we've already been paying in that sales tax that has been split between the two pro teams. I think the Chiefs are not going to take over that tax.
Yeah, I think you're probably right because the fact too is that Arrowhead is a beautiful stadium, but it's getting old. And if at the end of this deal, which would be essentially 30 years, it would be in its 80s. So if you get to that point, all of that money from the public sales tax vote, all that money from the 3/8 cent sales tax in Jackson County, that does not go to stadium improvements. That goes to maintenance of the facility. It's $20-some million a year for the Chiefs, and it goes strictly to maintenance of the facility. So even with the plans that they rolled out last April, that money would not fund those plans. That money would allow them to find other funding for those plans because they'd have that maintenance fund. So, yeah, the older that building gets, the more money they're going to need to maintain it.
Yeah, we were talking about this right before you popped on. To me, the question is, do you want Arrowhead to turn into Lambeau? Like, Lambeau is an historic place. People come from around the world to see Lambeau and to be around it because of its history, because of its tradition. Everybody else in the NFL tears down their old stadium and builds a new one. Nothing wrong with that. You've probably been to a lot of these stadiums, and they're beautiful stadiums. This is that crossroad to me with Clark Hunt as now the owner of the team. Hey, if you want Allegiant, if you want SoFi, if you want the beautiful $2 billion stadium, then here is the option to go do it. But if you think this is Fenway, if you think this is Wrigley, if you think it's Lambeau, then this is your time to preserve it and to put the $1.1 billion back into Arrowhead and keep it alive for another 30, 35 years.
You're exactly on the money, and that's exactly what the Chiefs ownership is now weighing, because there are pros and cons to both, right? The pro to going over to the Kansas side, maybe the numbers are better. You get a dome stadium. You have the potential to have Super Bowls, Final Fours, all sorts of other kind of activity out there in which the ownership can make more money, right? But, you got to remember, Clark Hunt, he's a big fan of tradition. Lamar Hunt built that stadium. That's the house that Lamar built, and that means something to the Hunt family. So, you cannot discount that. And we know that they love Arrowhead Stadium, and it is kind of in that talk. Now, maybe it's not Lambeau or Fenway, but it's up there. It is one of the premier stadiums in the NFL, and I think if you invest in it for another 30 years, it's going to be in that conversation a lot more. The shiny stadiums, they're great, right? But what are they going to look like in 30 years? You're going to knock those down in 30 years and build another shiny stadium? We don't know how all that's going to play out too. So I think the ownership right now is trying to weigh those exact two options they have, and they have them both in front of them, and they've got to make a decision by the end of this month.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans of Channel 9 News for a couple more minutes. He has been following the Missouri special session that they have put a bill together to help finance stadiums for the Chiefs and the Royals. All right, let's talk about the Chiefs' perspective on this, and we were just getting to it a little bit. Are you looking at a timetable of this potentially being November of when a vote would potentially happen to help pay, I guess, and cover the rest of the renovations?
Yeah, it could be November. It could potentially be April next year. I'm not sure what the timeline is on that, because then you've also got to get the Jackson County legislature involved. They have to put it on the ballot. They have to figure out a whole lot of stuff too, and we saw what happened last time with that. So, I mean, that's not going to be an easy slam dunk for them either. But, yeah, if the Chiefs decide to stay in Missouri, they made it very clear that they will go back to the public for another vote. As far as the timing on that, I'm not really sure. It could be late this year, early next year. I would think they would want to get it done earlier, potentially November. But then also they've talked about as far as timeline for starting those renovations, they want to start in 27 or 28. So it'd be after the World Cup. So they've got a little bit of leeway, a little bit of wiggle room there, depending on what their ultimate plans are.
I do want to go back to maybe more specifics about the two teams, but it feels to me like we are wrapping this thing up. Like if this is a baseball game, we are heading into the 8th inning of all of this. Is that how you kind of see it? We have the deadline coming up in 24 days on the Kansas side. There's been a bill passed in Missouri. There's been this information on Kansas that's been out there for years. So this doesn't feel like this conversation is going to drag into training camp, for example. It feels like we're about to wrap this thing up.
I think so. And Kansas has made it very clear that they are not going to extend that Star Bonds proposal. So they've had it out there for a year. They've said the teams have had plenty of time to negotiate and talk it over. They're not interested in extending it. So I do think in hearing from both team representatives, they have both said that they will make a decision in the month of June between the Missouri and Kansas plans right now. Now there's also a chance they choose neither and explore other options. I mean, but it's tough. I do think we are nearing the end of it, and I think there is an awful lot of fatigue out there about exactly what the deal is, where they're going to go, and I think probably most of your listeners would agree. Just choose somewhere. All right, you know, we've been talking about this ad nauseum for years now, you know, and I think a lot of people are kind of getting to that point. It's like, okay, let's choose, and I think that time is sooner rather than later.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans here for a couple more minutes. All right, let's start with the Royals. If you had to guess, what do you think the Royals want to do? Because the Royals, from the very, very beginning, the Royals have been very clear on we want a downtown stadium. Now they're out purchasing land on 119th and all. They're talking to Clay County. Neither one of those things are in downtown Kansas City. What do you think? What do you think the John Sherman and the Royals ownership group? What do you think they want to do?
I don't even know anymore. I really don't. That's the $1 million question. I think they're still trying to figure that out too, because they're trying to weigh all these different options. They're trying to position themselves in several different locations, and they've always kind of had 3 or 4 locations they've been bouncing around ever since the start of this. You know, I mean, back when all this was started, when you mentioned downtown baseball, you thought the East Village location was the spot. Then there was the Crossroads location. Now it's Washington Square Park. I mean, they've bounced around 3 times just in downtown. And then the Clay County proposal is interesting because you're not in downtown, but you're not too far from downtown either. So you kind of get a little bit of that downtown vibe from that Clay County, that North Kansas City location. And then the Kansas side, obviously, with up to 70% for paying for a stadium, that's not an offer they can ignore either. So I think that they are still trying to figure all of that out too. I don't know exactly what they want, and I don't know if they know exactly what they want right now either.
I was going to ask you that same question about the Chiefs, where the Chiefs, to me, it seems like much more of a 50-50. Like the Chiefs have a legitimate dilemma. I could certainly understand as an organization that has shown they're not just in the football business. They're in the festival business. They're in the concert business. The Chiefs are turning their facility into more than just a football place. Well, one option gives you a full option of everything that you can do, and the other option comes down to preserving that history that you and I were talking about. I asked you that question about the Royals. What do you think, Clark Hunt, what do you think the Chiefs want to do?
That's a good question too. I mean, it's almost a bit of a coin flip because you mentioned that both are good options for different reasons, right? There's the history, there's the lore of Arrowhead Stadium. It's the loudest stadium in the world. There's never going to be another one like it. But also on the Kansas side of the state line, if you build Dome Stadium, you have all of those other opportunities for festivals and concerts and Final Four, Super Bowls, what may have you. So I think that the Chiefs' decision almost in a way is it's clearer, but it might be even more difficult because they're trying to weigh these two paths, and whatever path they choose is the path they are going down for at least the next 30 years. I mean, this is a big decision for the organization, for the Metro, and it's one that they're trying to figure out right now is which one offers them as an organization the best path forward. Because once you make this decision and you go down that road, it's not like, oh, well, never mind. Actually, we changed our mind. We want to move back to Arrowhead. It'll be gone. So I think that's a really, really difficult decision for the Chiefs and two very distinct roads. And which one is the right one for Clark Hunt and the Chiefs as a whole, that's going to be up to them.
Last thing, man, I'll get you out of here with this. During one of the special session meetings, one of the Missouri senators said that the Royals were approached by Salt Lake City and Nashville to potentially move there.
Yep. And we have heard that for a while now. I mean, you probably remember after the vote went down in April, Nashville was almost immediately floated. And I do think that there are cities out there that are putting their at least feelers out for both teams, because if there's an NBA or NHL or WNBA team that's up for grabs, do you think Mayor Quentin Lucas doesn't want to say, hey, Kansas City could be your home? These franchises, these organizations are huge economic drivers, and they are huge as far as the reach for Kansas City. That's a lot of what we heard in that Senate debate is all these primetime games. It's Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City. People know Kansas City worldwide now because of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I mean, when you talk about the name recognition of our area, having these teams is a huge boost. And if you're an area without an NFL or an MLB team and you hear that there could potentially be one up for grabs, I think you're making at least a phone call and saying, hey, if it doesn't work out where you're at, here's what we have to offer to.
That is Matt Evans joining us on the show today. Matt, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Favorite Taylor Swift song?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a Swiftie.
I know you got one, though.
Think.
You got one.
Okay, let me think. This is going to go it's got to go way back. My girlfriend in high school used to listen to Taylor Swift. All American Girl, is that one?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
I think. Something, I don't know. I can't remember.
That is Matt Evans. To be fair, though, that lets you know how long Taylor Swift has been in our lives. Your girlfriend in high school used to listen to Taylor Swift, and she's still just as popular as she's ever been.
I know. It's wild. It's crazy.
That is Matt Evans joining us on the show today. Matt, great stuff, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Carrington.
Absolutely. That is Matt Evans joining us on the show today. Rob, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Shake It Off.
That's a good one. I can't hate on Shake It Off. Shake It Off, it does make me feel good, too. Because the players are going to play. I mean, there's one thing that we do know. We know the players are going to play. And the haters, they're usually going to hate. They don't know what else to do other than to hate. So Curtis Gregory, who is a Missouri senator, he said during the Missouri special session that Salt Lake City and Nashville both reached out to the Royals to make a offer for their teams. I mean, if you're Salt Lake City and Nashville, don't you kind of have to do that? Now, I don't think the Royals really entertain the possibility of it. And obviously, I think their number one, number two, and number three priority are to stay in the Kansas City metro area, whether that's on the Missouri side or the Kansas side. But, I mean, if it fails in one state and now they have a stadium situation in limbo, if you're not Nashville or Salt Lake City and you're not at least putting a package together to try to convince them, hey, look, if you guys can't get a new stadium where you are, we've got $700 million ready for you to build a new stadium. I mean, you probably shouldn't be the mayor of either one of those cities if you can't put that together.
I mean, we saw something similar. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but remember post-vote, the city of San Antonio put out a proposal that was like, hey, we can build a new football stadium, just a heads up. It was mostly just posturing. Hey, look what we can do for you if you can't get it there. That's what happens after votes like this. And we have argued back and forth. I've gone back and forth the text line, social media about the Kansas versus Missouri side. But at its core, I do think as a metro area, we need to be largely happy with the fact that we are not talking about the teams leaving. Remember we were kids and the Penguins were using Kansas City as leverage to get a new stadium. You haven't seen that from the Royals or the Chiefs. Kansas might be leverage, but like you've said dozens of times in the show, Kansas isn't that bad to go to in Missouri. Missouri isn't that bad to go to in Kansas. You haven't seen Salt Lake, Nashville, whatever, Fargo pop up as leverage. It has been, hey, these teams are the Metro's teams. It's a matter of where in the Metro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited about the idea of it. I mean, I don't want the Chiefs to be on 119th and all, but them moving to 119th and all is definitely not the worst possible outcome. Not at all the worst possible outcome. In fact, that is what dozens of cities around the United, like, it's not like Kansas City is the only city that is playing the suburbs against the urban population, right? Like that literally happened in Atlanta. Turner Field was right down the street from the Georgia Dome, and then they just moved to a beautiful stadium in the suburbs. That's what the Bears are talking about doing. That's what the Browns are talking about doing. So now I think one of the plays isn't, well, now we're going to move. The Browns aren't going anywhere. They've already moved one of their teams before. It didn't really go well the last time. The new thing is we are going to play the suburbs against downtown and see how it works for you. That has really turned into the how we're going to get the most money out of this, and that's exactly what the Chiefs and the Royals are doing. That's what you should be doing as a company that doesn't want to pay for something. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Vern will be on the show coming up at 3 o'clock. Keep it right here, so Drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's one of Kansas City's most fun nights of the year. It's Guns N' Hoses, where area firefighters box area police in 13 exciting bouts for the families of our fallen first responders. This year's Guns N' Hoses, Saturday night, June 7th, at historic Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. Tickets are just $25. Get them while they last through Ticketmaster or at Municipal Auditorium box office. Guns N' Hoses, Saturday, June 7th.
At just 19 months old, Melina was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, leaving her paralyzed from the waist down. She courageously endured chemotherapy, radiation, blood transfusions, and physical therapy. Today, Melina is a thriving, vibrant 11-year-old. With your support, Hy-Vee and Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation are funding research and programs to help children like Melina. Please donate to Midwest Lemonade Days at any Kansas City area Hy-Vee now through June 7th. Together, we can fight childhood cancer one cup at a time.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This afternoon, expect showers and thunderstorms with a high of 78.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, I got a couple of thoughts here. Let's talk a little bit of NBA, and I promise you we'll get back to the Royals coming up at the top of the hour. Now, this is something that I potentially need you guys' help with because it is a little bit confusing to me. I have a mass communications degree. Now, it took me a long time to get that mass communications degree. I'm pretty proud of it. I dropped out of school. To work at 610. I worked with Nick Wright, worked my way up, and eventually, you know what I was thinking? Man, I should go back to school, and I did. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud. I got my degree. Rob, what's your degree? You went to the University of Kansas, one of the top schools in the country. What's your degree in?
I studied communications at Kansas.
Okay, so you and I got a very similar degree from two very different kind of universities. And I took that degree, and you know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a sports talk radio host. Ever since I was 10 years old, this is what I wanted to do, and I feel very blessed, very fortunate that I was able to do this. I don't really see myself having too many other jobs. So it blows my mind I know what my qualifications are to see that there are so many television executives out there. Like, I'm thinking, man, I'm in the wrong business. I'm in the wrong industry, the wrong profession. I cannot imagine caring about the ratings of the NBA Finals. Are they going to cancel the show? I mean, yeah, they cancel some shows if the ratings are poor, right? But that's not what they're talking about doing with the NBA. In fact, I know they're not planning on doing that. They just signed new television deals. Are we watching the games because everybody else is watching the games, or are we watching them because the games are intriguing? You have an Indiana Pacers team that is the embodiment of being the underdog. I thought America liked the underdog. I mean, we like the underdog in almost every other situation. This is a team that has been, or they were, heading into game one, they were the biggest underdog in the NBA in its last 25 years. They went on the road, 9.5-point dogs. They were down 8 with 3 minutes to go, and they won in game one in the other team's building. I don't care how many people watched it. I watched it. Are you getting some kind of points on the package? Is the NBA sending you a little percentage? It's just the entire conversation about the ratings are so stupid to me. We do this with basketball. We do this with baseball. Are they canceling baseball games? Because I don't think so. And they seem to be doing quite fine to me. You want to know how I know? They just gave Juan Soto $700 million to play baseball. Somebody is making a lot of money off paying baseball if they can give that much money to their employees. It's such a silly argument to me. We got two very good teams, two great young stars battling head-to-head, and in Tyrese Halliburton, if you are somebody that believes in this Mamba mentality, show me a player in the last 5 years that has embodied that more in this postseason than what I've seen with Tyrese Halliburton. What he did yesterday was ice cold. That's what it was. It was ice cold. We're down one with less than 15 seconds to go. Everybody in that gym knows who's about to get the ball. And I'm going to get to my spot on the floor. I'm about to hit this mid-range jumper, and I'm about to ruin your night. There's people there that spent $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 to be at game one of the NBA Finals, and you know that walk to your car when your team just lost, and you're just talking to yourself, mad, fuming. You're going through all the plays, all the opportunities that you missed, and Tyrese Halliburton has given every single fan base this summer that feeling. He gave it to the Knicks. He gave it to the Cavs. He gave it to Milwaukee. Every fan base knows that walk to the car because of Tyrese Halliburton. This is now a series. This is a series. You have to take the Indiana Pacers seriously now. And I know a lot of people didn't. A lot of people, they got no chance of winning. Maybe they'll get a game in this. Everybody kind of talked down on the Pacers. I don't know how you can continue to do that. They've proven you wrong at every single turn. They're for sure winning another game in this series. I don't think the Thunder are beating them 4 straight times, especially if 2 of them include back-to-back games in Indiana. No, they get one of them 2 games in Indiana. I think this series is going to be tied 2 apiece heading into Game 5, and then we'll see if the Thunder can win Game 5 and Game 6 and win this in 6 games. It has to change your calculus. I don't even think the Pacers played that well yesterday. They had 17 more turnovers than the Thunder. The Thunder took 19 more shots than they did, and they lost at home in regulation. We're not talking about a game in which the Pacers went in there and shot the lights out. No, we're talking about what we have seen is just one team has just snatched victory away from its opponent at every single turn. I hate this conversation. Is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar or not? It just feels like we repackaged the face of the NBA conversation and we found a way to repackage it. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is a superstar. It doesn't matter. He potentially is the best player on a championship level team and has shown you an ability to rise up in the most adverse situations and guide his team to a victory. I sat here last summer and I heard everybody tell me that basically this is what Jason Tatum was going to do. Remember when you guys were so mad that Jason Tatum wasn't playing? Oh, how can you do this? This is unfair. He's got to play. Tyrese Halliburton was sitting right next to Jason Tatum on the bench during the Olympics and didn't complain at all about it. And you know what he did? He has obviously taken that, fueled it, and he has his team 3 wins away from an NBA championship. This has been an incredible run. Honestly, it has been an incredible run. Phenomenal run. We'll see if it continues. We'll see if this is where things end for the Pacers. But another one of those games that you sit back and you think to yourself, yo, how did they win? How?
I mean, I don't want to take away from the actual basketball conversation and the sport that happened because I feel like the Pacers have been outplayed like 6 games this postseason. I feel like they're 6-0 in those games. We were sitting here talking about the Knicks series. They probably shouldn't have won game 1. They did. There were games in the series we felt like, oh man, they shouldn't win that one. They did. Was it game 5 against the Cavs? Same thing. I feel like the Pacers are undefeated in games they're outplayed. But let's talk about the ratings for 2 seconds. Because I think this problem expands beyond just the NBA. I don't know if it's the NFL's fault, but when did we become obsessed with the ratings and that's the only metric we use to judge if a sport is popular or not? College basketball had a really exciting Final Four this year, but people told me it didn't matter because the ratings weren't as good as an NFL game. The NBA Finals, game 1 was sensational. The ratings will be mediocre, and people will tell me, see, it's not an important sport. The World Series, every year it comes out, and it's like 2.6 million people watch game 1, and everyone's like, see, no one cares about baseball. When did ratings, when did ESPN, TNT, TBS, when did this become our go-to metric for if a sport event was good, bad, or indifferent? Because if we're going to do that, then we should just stop all sports other than football and college football in this country, because that's the only thing that rates really well, and I hate that's the metric we use.
And honestly, then if that was the case, we wouldn't start watching college basketball, and most people don't start watching it until the middle of March, like the middle of March. I'm with you. It's so weird to me. I don't care how many people plan on watching the NBA Finals. I plan on watching the NBA Finals, and I'm telling you, it has been a remarkable run by Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not saying this is who he is, but it feels very Allen Iverson on the Philadelphia 76ers in the early 2000s. It felt like yesterday that shot was his over Tyronn Lue moment. That's what it felt like. It was, I'm sitting there, I'm playing the new Mario Kart, and I kind of have it on in the corner. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. And the next thing I know, it's like 5 minutes left, and I'm like, wait, like, they might actually have a chance to get back in this. So I put it back on the big TV, and I'm telling you, it was a surgical finish for Tyrese Halliburton yesterday. Phenomenal game one. Really excited for game two. You can catch that on Sunday on ABC. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we are going to be joined by Josh Vernier. We'll get you ready for the Royals and White Sox coming up later today. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Tiger, dragon, do you have what it takes to win? Be fierce like the tiger, strong like the dragon. Only the brave will survive.
Yeah, that's not how these games work. With Tiger and Dragon from the Kansas Lottery, you can win up to $125,000 or $100K in a second chance drawing.
You are weak.
Ouch. It's not a video game. It's better. Play Tiger and Dragon instant games from the Kansas Lottery.
Let's play.
Yeah, that works. See kslottery.com for details.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because we know in making the most of your home, DIY doesn't just stand for do it yourself. It also means dream it yourself. And we're here to help protect the dreams you're building. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find that your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make the change for good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The summer sale is happening now at Peter's Clothiers. Save from 20 to 50% off on suits, sports coats, and sportswear. Perfect your look with their in-house tailoring. Peter's Clothiers, 124th and State Line Road.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Some
people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check your house sitter has the new code first before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code.
Contacting authority.
I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, joining us on the show today. Vern, let's go back to like 12-year-old Josh Vernier. What was your favorite store in the mall?
12, some sort of like a sports memorabilia, right? Those were always in and out, some other name. Wasn't necessarily a brand. But if it's not memorabilia, one of those pop-up shops at the mall, it would be like a, Foot Locker, anything where I could try to buy a jersey or a cool fitted hat.
What was the first jersey you remember having?
The first was Steve Young. The one that I remember was my favorite. Well, Steve Young was my favorite, but then the Kevin Garnett, his rookie season, I got that Timberwolves jersey, and I loved it.
You know what? Those early KG Timberwolves, I actually like the old ones, and whenever they got like the more modern uniforms, I just like the T-Wolves colorway.
He was just so cool. I remember an article about him, and I think it was one of the first ESPN the magazines. Maybe it was Slam, but he was the man. I still think KG's the man. I don't know if everybody does. Maybe that's just the 12-year-old me, but I was a KG guy throughout.
So let's talk about the early part of Jack Caglione. We haven't seen a whole lot, only his first 3 games. What have you seen from him as he's made his major league debut?
Certainly doesn't look intimidated, doesn't look passive. He's attacking the game, which you must do, because if you don't, the game's going to attack you, and you'll be back in Omaha before you know it. Made a pretty nice catch, nice running catch in right field. He's DHing tonight as he learns a new stadium. It makes sense. You're not going to put him out there as he's never been to guaranteed rate field before. No, I think you have to be very impressed with his body language out there. Yeah, he's 1 for 13, but again, no one was asking him to save the offense. What this offense needed was Salvi, Vinny, and Bobby to pick it up, and boy, did they ever. CDOT, the Royals have scored more than 4 runs for each of the past 3 games. The last time they did that was the end of August last year. The last time it ended, the streak of scoring 5 or more, it ended that day in Houston when Vinny's thumb exploded at first base. So it's the first time since then a Royals offense has scored 5 runs or more in 3 consecutive games, and I don't think it's a surprise that it aligns with the arrival of Jack Caglione. I also don't think it is a surprise that it aligns with Maikel Garcia moving up to the 3 spot as he continues to give you Lorenzo Cain vibes in the 3 spots. Salvi went 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position against the Cardinals. Vinny Pasquantino has a 21-game on-base streak, and he drove in or was at least responsible for multiple runs in all 3 of the games against St. Louis. Bobby scored 4 runs, so the guys that must be good were good. And yes, everyone else around them were good as well, but as this team gets ready to take on Chicago, to me it's not about Jack Caglione. Now it will be nice as he hopefully continues to get more and more comfortable. But this series against Chicago is, yes, about the offense continuing to instill confidence in one another and the fan base. But it's about Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi being the guys that we saw being the table clearers that we saw in St. Louis, because it was evident, it seems evident, this team has enough table setters, guys that can get on and cause a little bit of havoc on the base paths. Who's driving them in? Cags, I think, will be one of those guys, but he's not the guy. Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi need to be just that, and they were in St. Louis.
I'm always encouraged to me when you see those flashes of greatness. Like, it's never realistic to just think that Jack Caglione was just going to come down from Omaha and be hitting 400, right? Like, some of the expectations were unrealistic from the very, very beginning. So in the same way, if you're looking at a great defensive lineman, for example, you just want to see those flashes. Can he get to the quarterback? I kind of felt like that with Cags even in game one. I know he went 0 for 4, 0 for 5. You could just tell by the way he hit the ball, this kid has a chance of figuring this out. And when he does, he's got a chance to be really, really good.
Yeah, but we saw those things in spring training. We saw those things in the minor leagues. Hitting the ball hard in the big leagues isn't a surprise. You know, the way that they pitched Salvi, you know, and again, the conversations that you have about this Royals offense now with Jack Caglione, it's completely different. If I'm facing Salvi and there's a man in scoring position and Nick Lofton is standing in the on-deck circle, or Drew Waters or Michael Massey, I'm pitching Salvi different than that 6'5" monster named Caglione. So, yeah. Again, a very good body language. You know, carries himself like a professional, not hanging his head. Yeah, hitting the ball hard. He's been doing that his entire life. The presence that he brings to this team, man, it's been sorely missed. You haven't had someone to serve as a protector for Salvi all season, and it seems as if, at least early on, he can serve that role, at least until we get to a place where his holes are fully exploited and teams can attack them. Until a hole shows up, that presence in the on-deck circle is key.
Do you believe that he's provided juice for this team? Do you believe that his presence has sparked something with this team?
Well, I think his presence sparks something in how teams, again, attack Salvador Perez. I mentioned he's 3 for 3, goes 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position against the St. Louis Cardinals. That's not, you know, sure, Salvi's a future Hall of Famer. You knew things and you expect things to turn around for him. But no, that's not a surprise that aligns with Cags, just like it's not a surprise that, again, they score, you know, they're on their first offensive hot streak of the season. It's not a surprise that it aligns with Cags. You know, seeing a guy make his big league debut, I'm sure, has a way of centering a very stressful game, you know, centering your mind. You look at him and you remember your debut and the joy that you played with, and maybe it loosens you up. But no, I think it's more of just bottom line baseball stuff. He's a monster, and he can beat you with one swing of the bat. And the guys that were in his spot for the 60 games before he showed up couldn't do that, or at least hadn't done that so far in 2025. Your Renfroes and Masseys and MJ Melendez. Yeah, Cags has something to do with it. But you and I, we've been talking about Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi since spring training. They just had their best series collectively of the season. Throw into the mix Maikel Garcia moving to the 3 spot and doing the things that Locaine did for the boys back in 2015. He's not your prototypical number 3 hitter, but for this team, for the way they want to move on the base paths, he's the perfect number 3 hitter, because now in the 7, 8, 9 spot, guys that can advance a runner, guys that can run a little bit, and that flips right into the top of the lineup of India, Bobby, and Maikel, who can run a little bit, right? So that's 6 straight guys that are action guys on the base paths, followed by Vinny, Salvi, and Cags, 3 table clears, where the edict is clear. When a man is in scoring position, we need you to do the damage. Vinny and Salvi certainly did that against St. Louis, and I know we all believe that Cags will do it in short order.
Right now, we're talking to Josh Vernier, just getting his thoughts on Jack Caglione's first week in the majors. How do you think he's performing in the outfield?
Well, you know, one game, or one day, I should say. Good enough. Had, 2 plays, made both of them. Looks athletic, looks confident. Good enough, but still a guy that I'm replacing late in a game if the team's up by 1. You saw that in the opener yesterday against St. Louis, and I think that's the wise move. It took MJ Melendez, who's lighter and a slightly better athlete than Jack Caglione. It took MJ Melendez about a year and a half before, I know myself, before I felt confident that he was a league average corner outfielder. So, next spring training, I expect to feel really good about Cags at right field. Right now, he's an outstanding bat that needs to be in the lineup, and you put him in there any way you possibly can. Tonight, he's the DH, as he should be, again, in a stadium for the first time.
Right now, we're talking to Josh Vernier, just getting his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals as they are leaving St. Louis and they are heading to Chicago. I was looking at some numbers for Salvador Perez over the last, 2 weeks or so, since May 21st. The splits are actually pretty favorable. Do you think that Salvi is turning the corner offensively?
Well, what does that mean? What does turning the corner mean? Do I think he's a all-star, one of the best bats behind the dish in all of Major League Baseball? No. Do I think he's as bad as the numbers indicated in the first 2 months of the season? No, because, again, the underlying numbers always said he was making solid contact. He was one of the unluckiest hitters in all of Major League Baseball. But no, I still feel the same about Salvi in the second half of the season, as it's only going to get warmer and warmer. If you're going to ask him to catch 3 out of every 5 games, you can't be asking that guy to hit cleanup. Honestly, even him in the 5 spot between Vinny and Cags, I'd like to see another right-hander replace him. I'd like to see Salvi bump down to the 7 spot for the home stretch. I never thought Salvi was going to be bad all year. So has he turned the corner? Yeah, he was never a bad hitter, and he hasn't been a bad hitter lately. So that's nice to see.
Vern, are you worried about Cole Reagans?
Sure, yeah. Now, the only thing that allows me some patience is nobody cares more about the long-term health of Cole Reagans than the Kansas City Royals, even if they don't plan on signing him past his team control. Well, during the years in which you have Cole Reagans, he's one of the finest lefties in the sport. So, listen, I'm interested to see what Q has to say when he addresses the media shortly about their plans for the rotation following this series against the White Sox. But after the game yesterday, Q didn't seem all that concerned about Reagan's health. And so long as he's healthy, the dude's still the real deal. So if they're not worried about health, I'm not going to worry about health. But once they start worrying, yeah, we all start to freak out.
Yeah, I was just thinking more about this, and I was talking to Rob about this earlier. Like, if I had to sit here and make a list and write down how many Royals players are the same as they were last year or potentially better, I think that's a really small list. If I wrote down how many Royals players are worse or performing worse this year than they were last year, that's a much longer list, which kind of explains how they just basically treaded water for the first 2.5 months of the season.
Well, I don't know about that. I think there are more players on the list of better than last year. It's just the names that many people know are on the not as good as they were last year. Like, more important names are on the not as good as they were a season ago list. But listen, Chris Bubich, right? Chris Bubich wasn't on that list. Noah Cameron's not on that list. The reason why you sit 3 games above 500 for the most part are guys that, weren't in this role a season ago. I mean, outside of Maikel Garcia, Jonathan India wasn't here. Drew Waters wasn't a part of the team last season. Neither was Nick Lofton. Lucas Erceg wasn't here. Carlos Estevez, Steven Cruz, Daniel Lynch. I mean, a lot of the guys that are playing big roles for this team were not on this team, or at least not in this role at this time a season ago.
That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. Catch him later today, getting you ready for the pregame show between the Royals and the White Sox. Great stuff, Vern.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. Coming up on the other side, why don't we get to the top story in the National Football League as the Steelers have a brand new quarterback. We all knew this was going to happen. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
It's one of Kansas City's most fun nights of the year. It's Guns and Hoses, where area firefighters box area police in 13 exciting bouts for the families of our fallen first responders. This year's Guns and Hoses, Saturday night, June 7th, at historic Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. Tickets are just $25. Get them while they last through Ticketmaster or at Municipal Auditorium box office. Guns and Hoses, Saturday, June 7th.
It's First Inning Friday on FanDuel, where every week FanDuel is hooking all customers up with a special offer you can use on all early game MLB action. Put your baseball knowledge to the test from the very first swing with no or yes runs in the first inning. Will anyone score in the inning's first frame? Well, check each team's season stats right there on the FanDuel app, and you can make the call for yourself. Every First Inning Friday, you can expect a special reward like a profit boost token, no sweat bet, or more. So just make sure that you come back every single week so you can take another swing. So step up to the plate with FanDuel. Use my promo code, FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use America's #1 sportsbook app, and remember to make every moment more. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bag. Retired 7 days in receipt. Return supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get them at your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Did storms hit your area? Looking for answers on the impact it made to your roof? Then it's time to schedule a zero-pressure, in-depth inspection with Century Roofing's trusted roofing experts. We will determine if enough damage exists to warrant filing a claim. See for yourself why Century Roofing has been voted Best of Johnson County for the 3rd year in a row. Trust the pillars of strength for 35 years. KC-based and female-owned. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Blackstone 8-piece accessory kit when you buy a Blackstone 28-inch griddle. Plus, get 2 free select Craftsman V20 tools when you buy an RP brushless drill and impact driver combo kit. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement, And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Tonight, expect a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 65.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Seeing some brake lights on eastbound 435 between 35 and 69 highway. Also going to be heavy out of the 435 exchange right there on eastbound 70. Also slow into downtown, northbound 71. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers have reached an agreement with Aaron Rodgers to be their starting quarterback. Now, on one side of this, I was very confused why there was so much conversation around this the last couple of days, because it felt very obvious what was about to happen. If you guys remember, last year, Aaron Rodgers took a vacation in the middle of the Jets' offseason programs. He was there, then decided to go to Egypt, and while in Egypt, he shot a Netflix documentary. So it always felt very clear to me, well, the Steelers know what Aaron Rodgers' decision is. They've just simply told him, you have been excused during this time. Go take care of what you need to take care of. The last time that Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show, I think he made it kind of clear that he was dealing with something in his personal life. I don't know what it is. That's his business. But he's dealing with something, and eventually he will get to a place to decide if he wants to play football or not. I kind of took that interview from now it feels like 2 months ago that I'm going to play for the Steelers. It's just going to be a while before I agree to do it. Well, now we have the answer. The Steelers have mandatory football practice next week. I mean, it'd be great if your quarterback was there. Their quarterback has agreed he's going to show up, and now he's the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the thing that kind of blows my mind with the Steelers. Do the Steelers want to be interesting, or do they want to be real contenders? There's no question that this makes the Steelers a more interesting team. They were thinking about having Mason Rudolph or Will Howard to be their starting quarterback. The Steelers were going to be the same team that we always know and love them to be. Tough, hard-nosed, run the football, play good defense, be well coached. That's what they were planning on being. I mean, they still might be that, but they're going to do so in a much more enjoyable form. I'm curious to see how this could work. The Jets are a disaster. I'm not surprised that Aaron Rodgers didn't work out on the Jets. This is a real organization with structure, with a great head coach, with talent, with weapons around him, with a good defense. It could work. It also could not. This is what really blows my mind the most. The Steelers that I grew up with, the back in my day version of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they used to be one of the franchises that you wanted to emulate. You wanted your organization to be more like the Steelers. They had Bill Cowher. They competed for championships. They were always in the mix, could always win their division, had Hall of Fame players. The Steelers were one of those franchises, a pillar of the league. I feel like the Steelers are perfectly fine just being a 9-8, maybe 10-7. I mean, we're not going to win our division, but maybe we'll make a wild card. We'll probably play Kansas City or Buffalo, and then we'll get smoked in round one, and then we'll just repeat the same process again next season. Is that not what the Steelers feel like this year? They'll be interesting. They'll be competitive. I'm guessing the Steelers will probably get off to a good start. It's early in the season. It's warm outside. The schedule's kind of light for them. The Steelers will start off 5-2, 6-2, and you'll turn on your favorite TV debate shows, and they'll be, well, can the Steelers challenge the Chiefs in the AFC? And then they'll fall apart in the second half of the season. They'll limp into the playoffs, and they'll lose in the first round. That's what the Steelers have been for the last 5 years. This move doesn't change that. Look at the AFC. The AFC is a young guns game. Look at it. You got Mahomes and Allen and Burrow and Jackson and CJ Stroud, and the number 1 overall pick just got into it, and Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix, and look up and down. You went out and signed a 40-something-year-old quarterback that feels like he's half in, half out, and is, 18 months removed from a serious injury? You think that's the pathway to the Super Bowl? Good luck. I don't think this is going to work. I don't know if it's designed to work. It feels like a move that is designed to keep the Steelers relevant. It's an improvement over what they have. Of course, they had Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback. No, it's an improvement. They got better at the position. The Steelers have the 9th best quarterback in the AFC, the 10th best quarterback in the AFC. You waited until early June to do that. It just feels uninspiring. This is a really good move for Madden. This is not a really good move in real life. This makes the Steelers more interesting if they're on Thursday Night Football in Week 6. And are you going to watch the Steelers? Oh, yeah, I'll watch Aaron Rodgers. Are they a contender? Are they a team that you should be worried about? Are they a threat? It just doesn't feel like it. It feels like this has been a very long stretch to just waste the rest of our time talking about a very average football team. Earlier today, I got a chance to catch up with Adam Crowley. He does morning in Pittsburgh. I asked him, what's it like to be in the middle of everything that's happened with Aaron Rodgers?
It's been exhausting. It just has, because nothing new has come out. Basically, it's just a bunch of different national media members giving opinion on something where none of the information has changed. We have been discussing for a while that the most likely outcome was that he was going to sign after OTAs, and he signed 2 hours after the final voluntary practice, and he'll be reporting to minicamp next week for the Steelers, which obviously is mandatory. So I don't think this took a lot of people in the know by surprise. You always, and this is kind of an inside baseball thing, you'll get it, like you worry a little bit about listener fatigue, and the numbers and the ratings are good, and the listeners are telling us through that they're interested in it. But I got my own personal Aaron Rodgers fatigue, and now I'm just excited to see where this goes. I think the payoff is going to be outstanding. There's going to be more people in that facility next Tuesday for minicamp, maybe than there's ever been, certainly at this time of year. And I think Rodgers is going to look really good in minicamp because no one's going to hit him. He doesn't have to move. And it's going to be the same thing in training camp, and I doubt we see him very much, if at all, in the preseason. So going into the season, he's going to be looked at by all his teammates, I think, as a savior. And I think the fan base is going to buy into it because I think a lot of the beat writers are going to buy into it. And so while the last 2 months have been fairly exhausting and maddening, I think the payoff is going to be wonderful because this thing could absolutely go sideways, and I'm here for all that.
Right now, we're talking to Adam Crowley, who does mornings in Pittsburgh. The top story right now in the National Football League is that there really is no story in Pittsburgh. It is just the close of the story. Aaron Rodgers is taking over as their new quarterback. Adam, this is certainly something that you and I have discussed over the years. Man, the Steelers, for most of our lifetime, they have been the epitome of excellence. They have been in that, upper tier. This is what you want your franchise to be like. It is kind of weird these last 5 years to feel like that is not something the Steelers are very interested in, that the Steelers are happy being a 9-8, 10-7, maybe make the playoffs, lose in the first-round team. And this move, to me, really epitomizes that. Aaron Rodgers makes you more interesting, but he doesn't make you more of a contender in my mind.
No, you're probably the same as last year. It's just a different old quarterback at the helm, which I'm fine with because, again, I didn't want to watch Mason Rudolph. But there was massive backlash earlier this offseason when the brother of the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers was doing an interview, and he said, we've been above the mean. Above the mean. We don't care about that as Steelers fans. You want to contend for championships. You want to be a legitimate contender every single year. When you go into the playoffs, when we're twirling those terrible towels, we want to be thinking, oh, they can actually accomplish something that we'll remember forever. And for the last 8 years, they haven't even flirted with winning a game in the postseason. And so they're probably not going to win a playoff game this year. But I do think you've got a better shot with Aaron than you do with Mason. And unfortunately, I think that's what they're looking at this year. Who gives them the best chance to end that streak? And then you go get the rookie next year. But yeah, it's probably another season of mediocrity for your Pittsburgh Steelers this season.
Let's play a real quick game here, and then we'll move on. Let's play a real quick game. Aaron Rodgers is the blank best quarterback in the AFC. I'm looking at the AFC West. I'd rather have every quarterback in the AFC West over Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather have C.J. Stroud over Aaron Rodgers. I think that's it in the AFC South. I probably would say Trevor Lawrence, but you guys know I'm not nearly as high on Trevor Lawrence as the public is, but I think you rather have Trevor Lawrence than have Aaron Rodgers. So I would take every quarterback in the AFC West. I would take C.J. Stroud over him. Okay, I'll throw Trevor Lawrence on the list. So right now we're at 6. We're halfway done. He's the third best quarterback in his own division. So the Ravens have a better quarterback. The Bengals have a better quarterback. We are now talking about, what is that? He's 8th on the list. We didn't include Josh Allen. We didn't count Tua. And, I mean, heading into this season, I'd rather have Drake May than have him. I mean, we've done all of this. We have moved things around. We have excused you missing half of the offseason for the 11th best quarterback in the AFC. This just feels like the definition of hustling backwards. I don't know why the Steelers just didn't go get Sam Darnold when they had the opportunity. Sam Darnold was sitting right there. He's a free agent. He's also 27 years old. Why didn't the Steelers just get Sam Darnold? Why? Rodgers just keeps you good enough to get the 17th overall pick this year. I mean, maybe you think that's good enough to find your quarterback. I mean, it might be. This is a pretty good quarterback class, but I just don't know why either they didn't take the swing this year. They could have got Geno Smith. They could have got Sam Darnold. I mean, there was a way for you to get better at quarterback than what you did. And Rodgers is going to keep you good enough to where, I mean, you're probably going to be out of the sweepstakes to get the top 3 or 4 quarterback prospects. You could always trade up, but there was just a much easier path. This just really feels like a move that just keeps you in quarterback purgatory and sort of team purgatory. You're not going to be bad enough to pick 4th overall, and you're also not going to be good enough to pick 29th this upcoming season. It feels like just another blast season for Pittsburgh.
Maybe this is like the NFL machine and the owners have brainwashed me into thinking this, but sometimes a franchise needs a hard reset. You have to take that step back to take 2 steps forward. And it seems like the Steelers the last 5 seasons are just scared to death of that step back. They're terrified that a 4-13 in Pittsburgh would spell so much doom and gloom that they'll never recover. Let's look at the Patriots. I know quarterback and coach are very different, but I think you'll understand my analogy. They realized, okay, we can't keep going forward with Bill Belichick. He might be the greatest coach in the history of the NFL, but we have to do something different. They fired him. They were really bad last year. They were bad the year before. They took the step back, and now a lot of NFL people, including me and you, think, oh, watch out. The Patriots might be pretty good next year. They might be pretty good for a few years to come. Watch out for New England. They took the step back to take 2 steps forward. Sometimes a hard reset is required, and it feels like the Steelers are just terrified. And it's weird because I feel like that fan base, which is beyond just Pittsburgh, it's expansive, would understand. We'll take it in the teeth one year if that means we get Arch Manning, if that means we get Grant Nussmeier, if that means we get, I don't know, who's the kid for Clemson? Cade Kublek? Like, I feel like that fan base would understand the long game, but it feels like they've just instead decided that we can't be worse than 9-8. We hope for better. It never happens, but worse than 9-8 is the worst thing that could ever happen to this proud franchise. And it sounds very loser talky to me.
It absolutely sounds that way. Let's move on and we'll talk about the Kansas City Royals right now. So Jalen Thompson was on Wednesday when I was gone, and he talked about the possibility of the Royals moving to a 6-man rotation.
Right now, a 6-man rotation could be on the table, but they have off days every Monday this week, like we mentioned before, and I don't know if that might be where they want to go. They also could have the option to potentially move Michael Lorenzen into the bullpen, but when you look at the way the Royals starters have been pitching, you really don't have a need for a long relief guy when you can have Daniel Lynch that can do the same thing. You have other guys that can do the same thing. So when you really look at it, they have to decide what is going to be their best option moving forward. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on what happens in today's game. You mentioned Noah Cameron starting today. So it's going to be what happens today, how do they look, how they want to fit this thing together. But one thing we do know is Cole Reagans is going to start tomorrow, and they have to make a decision. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what that decision is going to be.
That was Jalen Thompson. He was on the show on Wednesday when I was out. I'm a little bit worried about Cole Reagans. Just a little bit. I mean, we're, 2 weeks away from Juneteenth, and he has a 5 ERA this year? We're talking about Cole Reagans was one of the early favorites to win American League Cy Young. Last year, Cole Reagans was an all-star. We were looking at Cole Reagans like he is one of the top 5 young pitchers in baseball. He's 27 years old. I mean, he has given up 13 earned runs in his last 13 innings for the Royals. Now, there's some time in the middle. He had the injury. He then came back. He got kind of beat around yesterday in the doubleheader. I mean, you can't feel great right now about what's happening with Cole Reagans. I'm a little bit worried about him. I would say, Rob, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm probably at a 6.5, 7 right now on Cole Reagans. It has been a rough month. I mean, from May 10th up until this start that we just had, 3 starts. He then went on the IL for a little bit. He came back, continued to get beat around a little bit. I mean, I feel like I can be a little bit worried about Cole Reagans. I'm at a 6.5, 7. Where are you at?
I'm going to be a little bit lower than you. I'm going to sit at a 5, 5.5. And I'm going to give myself the cushion of, let me see the next start. Because I could easily say and explain this away as he's been battling an injury. Because his starts before going on the IL, he was battling a groin injury. Maybe he wasn't 100% right. He was trying to gut it through, whatever. And he then wasn't his best. Went on the IL, and we've seen 1 start post-IL. And we saw with Seth Lugo, sometimes coming off the IL and hitting the major leagues, you don't hit the ground running. There's a little bit of a learning curve, rust factor, whatever term you want to use, go crazy. So I'm a little bit lower than you. But if his next start out, whether that be next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, against the Yankees, he gets knocked around and his velocity stays down and his command stays erratic and he looks more like a 5 ERA guy than he did last season, then I would start to bubble up to your level of concern because it's then a trend. But for now, I'm a little less concerned than you because I'm going to explain it away and just give him the defense mechanism of, oh, he's been battling injury. He's not quite right yet.
I'm with you. I don't disagree with you. I certainly think that is the case. I mean, you would then think, though, when you were gone for almost a month, that when you come back, it's like hey, I'm good. You know, I get what you're saying. I think you could explain it away in May. I think you could explain it away. But, I mean, there's for Cole Reagans, he has given up at least 4 earned runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. He's been bad. I mean, there's no other way. Like I can't find any other word or metric to tell you other than it has gone bad for Cole Reagans. In 5 of your last 6, you've given up at least 4. You haven't gone deeper than 5 innings in any of those starts. We went from thinking that Cole Reagans could match up as a number 1 against any pitcher. He's not one of their 3 best starting pitchers right now. So that's just a little bit of a turn. So let me know what you guys think. 913-586-7965. Are you guys worried about Cole Reagans? He pitched yesterday in the doubleheader, and it didn't go good. 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, gave up a home run yesterday. He did strike out 4, but walked 3 yesterday. He has a 5.18 ERA so far in the early part of the season. Coming back up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the top story of the day. Missouri is en route of passing the bill that is going to help fund a new stadium for the Royals and a renovation for the Kansas City Chiefs, but the teams have to be willing to accept the money. We'll talk more about that coming up at 4 o'clock. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka in Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories. And the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
So summer is here, and that is barbecue season. Well, we live in Kansas City, so it's barbecue season 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. But this is a little bit different. This just isn't you going to Gates Barbecue to get the best barbecue in the world. This is also you grilling for your family. So whether you're throwing a couple hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill or really you getting down on the grill, you got some fish, you got some salmon, you got some seafood going out there, you got some steaks. You want to make sure that you got the right sauces and seasoning. So you know Gates has got you covered. Whether you stop by any of the Area 5 locations or the next time you go to the grocery store, you got to make sure for your cookout, your barbecue, you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates sauce, and you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates seasoning. Or maybe you have no clue how to grill, but you know what you can do. You can swipe your debit card and go buy some of the best barbecue. So stop by any one of the Area 5 locations and pick up those classic Gates menu items, whether it's the beef on bun, heavy on the sauce with the fries and the strawberry pop. Maybe you go get the Gates mix plate. Maybe you go get yourself a half slab of ribs. Maybe you're getting a platter because you're having a watch party as the basketball season is coming to a close. Whatever your barbecue needs are, whether you're throwing something on the grill or simply want something to eat, telling you, Gates has you taken care of at any one of your Area 5 locations. Check out the website, gatesbbq.com. They got you taken care of all summer at Gates Barbecue.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd time.
It covers the whole works at Lewisburg Ford.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to the awesome people we have working working at Lewisburg Ford and helping our customers, and it really shows with this award because it's only a few dealers that get it, and we've done it 22 times.
I guarantee you this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
The summer sale is happening now at Peter's Clothiers. Save from 20 to 50% off on suits, sports coats, and sportswear. Perfect your look with their in-house tailoring. Peter's Clothiers, 124th and State Line Road. Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park and Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Step up to the plate and hit a home run with Casey's best airport parking. It's Park and Go. Great service, low price, zero hassle. Open 24/7 and all spots are covered. Don't get caught looking. Strike three. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
Here's traffic brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We are seeing some pretty heavy traffic eastbound 70 coming out of the 435 exchange. It's heavy to about Sterling, slowing you down to almost 18 miles an hour. And also seeing some brake lights around the state line on eastbound 435. Heaviest slowdowns look like they're at about Holmes Road. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
This isn't something that we talk about in this sense, and I don't know if people really view it in that sense, even though that it is. By far and away, and I don't necessarily think that it's close, the best piece of sports merch are baseball hats. Cooler than jerseys, cooler than t-shirts that you can have. And I'm not talking about you get a football team's hat and it's in a baseball style. No, I'm talking about the hat that the players wear. You got the same hat that Derek Jeter has on. You got the same hat that Shohei Ohtani wears. Baseball caps are by far and away the coolest piece of sports merch. I'm kind of a traditionalist in this sense. Now, I'm not saying I don't like some of the alternate colors or some of the different colorways. Yeah, sure, they're fine. Sometimes we be getting some goofy hat combinations when you think to yourself, there's nothing wrong with the original. The OG. The Yankees have been wearing that same hat, that same style, and I've never gotten old of it. I don't need to wear different color Yankee caps. No, the one that they have is perfect. It goes with everything. It's phenomenal. Let me ask you this question, Rob. The White Sox, that's a tier 1 cap, right? You know, like those little internet games that they play where it's like S tier, A tier, B tier. You know, the game that the young kids are playing today. Are you putting the White Sox lid on that top row? Because the Yankees cap, certainly on that top row. I would say the Dodgers cap, certainly on that top row. And then I think we start having some debates of what other franchises get to have that top row of, man, that's a really cool hat.
So I don't have the White Sox on that S tier. I only have 2 clubs on the S tier. Again, for your analogy of what happens on the internet with the youths, as I like to say. I think it's Yankees and Cubs, and those are the only 2 S tier hats.
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs are on this list.
The Cubs are on this list ahead of the Dodgers. The Cubs have
crazy.
The Cubs have a multicolored hat, which is incredible. You get the red, the white, and the blue. Bing, bang, boom, fantastic. And the Yankee might be the most iconic in all of sports. That's 1-2. Dodgers is just the same as the Royals with different lettering. And the White Sox one, I think, is in that A tier. But no, the Cubs and the Yankees are the only S tier level baseball hats we see.
Yeah, see, I think you're wrong about the White Sox. This is why. I think the White Sox hat is just so iconic, 90s fashion with NWA. I don't like, to me, that hat it's forever marked. You don't see people walking around with the Cubs hat. Like if you're just randomly going out somewhere, let's say you're going to a concert, right? People are dressed up. Some people are really dressed up for a concert. Some people are dressed a little more casually for a concert. There's a bunch of different, different walks of life, different styles, different fashions. You don't never randomly just see people walking around with that Cubs C on. No, that's not even in the top 10 of caps. I'm surprised that you would throw that out there. You see more people wearing Red Sox hats than I think you see wearing that Cubs hat. You don't never see people wearing the Cubs hat. Honestly, the Royals got a really good lid. Now, it's basically the Dodgers hat. It's the same hat, almost the same blue. You see people wearing Royals hats that are not Royals fans. You see people wearing Dodgers hats that are not Dodgers fans. You don't just randomly walk around and see people wearing that Cubs C. That's not one of the best baseball lids, not even close.
Maybe this is two Americas, because I see far more Cubs hats than White Sox hats. For your concert analogy, I don't know I've ever been to a concert in my life and seen a White Sox
You
hat.
want to know why you think this? You only think this is because the C is a KU colorway. That's the only reason why you feel this way about the Cubs hat.
Elite color scheme, red, blue, and white. Bing, bang, boom.
You cannot think that the Cubs have the second best hat in the game. The Mariners have a better hat than the Cubs.
Stop. No, they don't.
I like the Mariners hat.
The Mariners is a fine hat.
The Mariners hold on. The Tigers have a better hat.
I like the Tigers hat a lot. It depends. Is it the orange old style D or is it the white one? Because the white one's it's another version of the Yankees hat. The orange one, I will listen to that conversation.
Someone on the text line says, "C-Dot, you're incorrect. The Cubs are a huge national brand." No question. No one's denying the brand of the Cubs. You just don't really see people wearing the Cubs hat. It's just not fashionable to me. It's not fashionable in the way that some of the other hats are. The Royals hat's like a really unique shade of blue that you can wear out and you can piece it with other things. You don't just see people wearing the C, man. You're not seeing it. Somebody on the text line makes a good point. Milwaukee's got a great hat. I do like the Brewers hats. The Brewers have a nice hat. Who has the worst hat in the game? Like right now, we're going through who has the worst hat. I'm gonna throw a hat in there. And I don't think this is their original hat. Like this might be one of their alternate colors. Some of those Padres hats are bad. Just really bad lids. Don't buy me no. I don't want no Padres.
Like the pink lime green. That one's fantastic.
Then one of them they got like a UPS colorway scheme.
Yeah,
it's trash.
That's no good.
It's trash.
I'm thinking around baseball. Now we're saying worst hat, not what the least popular is. Because I've never seen a person wear a Rangers hat, but that doesn't mean it's the worst hat.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
That's a different thing. I actually think the answer is the Marlins.
That is a bad lid.
That's weird color.
That's a bad lid.
And it's just their whole logo. I know they've redone their logo, but it's a fish. Like it's a fish and it's teal. The Marlins have the worst hat in baseball, and they might be the worst team in baseball, but that's a really bad lid.
Someone on another one, the Diamondbacks. You don't never see anybody just wearing Diamondbacks apparel. They got an ugly lid. They do have an ugly lid. I agree. I'm with you. I just was wondering that, the Royals are traveling to Chicago to take on the White Sox. I was just curious, where you guys rank the hats. I can't believe Rob said the Cubs have the second best hat in the game. That's a terrible opinion. Awful opinion.
I mean, it's an elite hat.
Awful opinion. The Orioles have a better hat.
The
than
Orioles
the Cubs.
hat's also very, very good. The Orioles hat's great.
I know you guys won't say this. That Cardinals hat's kind of cool. The Cardinals hat's nice.
It's in the A tier.
Yeah,
it's definitely in that A tier.
The Cardinals hat is nice. That's another iconic. You see non-St. Louis Cardinals fans wearing the Cardinal hat. Now, it's just something about that red with the white. It kind of pops. Yeah.
Can I ask the question? Is it the Cardinals, the Yankees, even the White Sox, is part of their allure that they transcend just the team and they are a pop culture thing? We can, debate how big of a deal Nelly was, but Nelly was a big deal in the 2000s. He was wearing Cardinals hats.
The Cardinals hats.
There's a billion rappers and famous people that wear Yankees hats. Jay-Z is one that stands out. Ice Cube wore White Sox hats. Like, how much of that is because the pop culture around those hats is transcending the team?
100%. Because, you and I lived through the era where people wore jerseys as fashion. Like, walking around and wearing a jersey, we can make fun of it now. There was a time there where people just wore jerseys and they were cool. And then eventually people got out of it, and eventually it comes back. Like everything goes in cycles, right? Wearing a baseball cap has never not been cool. There's never been a time where you're like, ooh, you got a Royals hat on, or ooh, I can't believe you're wearing a Yankees hat. That's what I'm saying is it's a timeless sports merch. Timeless. That you can wear just about anywhere. You and your girl can be going to dinner later today. You can put on a nice lid and wear it to the dinner and no one thinks anything of it. It's just a cool thing to have. That's why, we see baseball caps around us all the time. You just don't see Cubs hats that often. That's why I was a little bit surprised to see you putting it in that same conversation. Somebody said, what about the Braves? Their hat's fine. I don't got an issue with it, but their hat's fine. What about the Pirates one? The Pirates one's not in this conversation. The Pirates one, I'm not putting that in the conversation with the Royals or the Dodgers or the Cardinals. Their hat's okay, but it's not on that top tier. Not in my opinion. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the top story. Missouri has figured out how it can potentially pay for the stadiums. What does that mean? We'll continue talking about it. Keep it right here, so drive.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We are seeing some pretty heavy traffic eastbound 70 coming out of the 435 exchange. Heavy to about Sterling, slowing you down to almost 18 miles an hour. And also seeing some brake lights around the state line on eastbound 435. Heaviest slowdowns look like they're at about Holmes Road. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The power of Dell AI with Intel Inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays.
Unbelievable! What a play!
See how Dell Technologies with Intel Inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
Harrison from The Drive here. Are you feeling tired, maybe a little foggy, or just not like yourself? Well, it could be low T. Symptoms like low energy, poor sleep, and a lack of motivation. They don't have to control your life. And at Heartland Men's Health, they specialize in treating low testosterone and helping men regain their vitality and confidence. With just a simple, quick quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com, you can find out if you're experiencing low T, and then you can book a $100 consultation. They'll run your labs, and within 30 minutes, you'll have your answers. And if you start treatment that day, then the visit is on the house. In just weeks, you'll feel more energy, get better sleep, improve workouts, and have a stronger sex drive. So don't let this hold you back. Pick up the phone. Don't wait. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. Heartland Men's Health has 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Reclaim your energy and confidence today.
Not available in all states. Rates vary.
Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough.
But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across their multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Hey there, Royals fans. We've got more ways to watch your boys in blue this season than ever before with FanDuel Sports Network. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action, or, new this season, Royals Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers like DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Royals.com/TV to learn more.
The Drive with CDOT and Rob are live from Kauffman Stadium on Tuesday for the Kansas City debut of Jack Caglione with Burns on Deck show starting at 5:30. Your home for Royals baseball is 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right. I want to have this conversation. Maybe it will upset some of you. Maybe it won't. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe you think I'm accurate. Whatever it is. Someone sent in a question on the text line that asked, which has a better chance of hosting a Super Bowl? Is it a renovated Arrowhead in Missouri or a new stadium in Kansas? The answer is the new stadium in Kansas. So if you missed it earlier today, Nate Taylor was on the show, and he said that if the Chiefs put a dome on their stadium, they will host a Super Bowl.
Clark Hunt wants a dome. Like, there's no...
Does he think he can convince the NFL to give him a Super Bowl?
Yes. Guys, they build a dome, they get in the Super Bowl, period.
I don't really think that's in dispute. And I'm not saying that Nate's not hearing that from sources. I mean, they gave Detroit the Super Bowl. They gave Minnesota the Super Bowl. They have domes. You don't get a Super Bowl in Detroit in late January, early February if you don't have a dome, or Minnesota. They built a new stadium. The stadium has a dome on it, sure. Now, they ain't going back to Minnesota. They're not going back to Detroit for the Super Bowl. But if you build a dome, they'll give you the one-off Super Bowl for sure. We are all partners here. You guys are part of what we're doing. We'll make it work for one time. So, yeah, I do 100% believe that if the Chiefs build a brand new stadium in Kansas that is like Allegiant, that has a dome over it, they will get the Super Bowl. Here's Nate Taylor talking about the timeline.
Their lease ends in January of 2031. They need to be somewhere, or they need to figure out something by the 2031 season. So, yes, 32, 33, somewhere in there.
All right, so let's talk about this. And I want you guys' opinion on this. I believe that the Chiefs are at an intersection. I believe they are at the intersection on, do they want to be the Packers? The Packers have the oldest stadium in the NFL, and it's by a long shot. The Chiefs have the second oldest stadium. Every other team that we talk about in the NFL has recently, for the most part, tore down their stadium and built a new one, or are in the process of doing it. The Bears are in the process of getting a new stadium. The Bills are in the process of getting a new stadium. The Browns. So all of these teams that we talk about, you might not think about it, but they have recently built a stadium, and they have recently built a stadium with public money. But that's not the purpose of this topic. I've been kind of surprised reading the text line how I would say indifferent some of you feel about this topic. Now, some of it I think is just fatigue. We've been talking about it for so long. At this point, do what you're going to do. I don't care. I'm going to go to the games either way, or I don't really go to a lot of the games. I watch them on television. So you guys make a decision, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You want to know what I think the problem here is? The experience at Allen Fieldhouse is inside the building. That's not the case with the Chiefs. The Chiefs' experience is outside the building. My observation is the reason why some of you feel so about Arrowhead is that's not what the appeal is for Arrowhead. The appeal for Arrowhead is the picnic before the game. Now, sure, the games are great, but I mean, they're going to be playing football wherever. The appeal is the space, the camaraderie, the community that has been built up before the game with you going out there. And the Chiefs, I think, know this, cater to people that feel this way about it. And trust me, no matter where the stadium is, they will not lose that part because that's part of their culture and their identity. So I think, Rob, in a lot of these ways is, I don't think it really matters where the stadium is. Like, as funny as that sounds, if the Chiefs are going to keep the stadium, great. If they're going to get rid of the stadium, okay, whatever. I think people, their draw to Arrowhead is not once you walk inside the building. The draw to Arrowhead is everything that happens before the game to get you ready for what you're about to go in there and do. It's a badge of honor to get to Arrowhead 12 hours before the game and eat and drink. Some of you plan your entire year about those 16, I guess not 16, that's a full schedule, but those 10 times that you're going to have to go out with your family and friends and go watch the games. I think that's the culture that is much more important of preserving to most fans. I don't know if most fans really care or not about preserving the structure that they are in, and that just makes it inherently different than some of those other places. There's no plan for them to tear down Wrigley Field. It would be blasphemous to even suggest getting rid of Wrigley Field. Rob, they've been playing basketball in that venue at KU for 70 years now? There's no plan on them moving anywhere. You don't have any interest in them having a brand new shiny stadium, no matter what comes attached with you having a brand new stadium. No, this is where we play. If you're more concerned now with the Super Bowl and the Final Four and those kind of things, then in my mind, you were admitting kind of how I felt the entire time. The Arrowhead experience is not inside the stadium. The Arrowhead experience is outside the stadium. It is around the stadium. And they can recreate that anywhere in the area. They can recreate that in Lee Summit. They can recreate that in Wyandotte County, Johnson County. As long as they give you enough space to bring out your grill and your little party bus, you can recreate the tailgate anywhere. That's the part that I think people really care about and want to preserve. I'm starting to feel more and more people don't care about preserving the actual physical structure of what we're talking about with Arrowhead.
So I kind of agree with you. But I do think there's part of the actual culture in the stadium they want to preserve. And it's that Guinness World Record loudest outdoor stadium thing. Now, I say that and it sounds very flippant and like I'm discounting it, but I do think, and we had Matt Evans on the show, and he said that he talked to the Chiefs lobbyist in Jeff City, and he mentioned it. I think there is a badge of honor from both the fans and the team that they are the loudest stadium in the NFL. So I think it's the tailgating and the loudness. The question then will come, and this is the question Clark Hunt is going to have to answer one day, is can you A, recreate that in a new stadium, plus get all the big events, get the Final Four, get the Super Bowl, get all the things at a stadium in Kansas? Or do you think those two things are so ingrained in the culture of Kansas City that you are willing to forego all the things and make that Arrowhead a mecca, and that you would plaster everywhere, was it 142.2 decibels? I think the loudness and the tailgating are the two things that are ingrained in the culture of Chiefs fans. But you're right. The play on the field, all that, it's just the loudness and the tailgating.
Yeah, but I think that you can build a stadium I've been to Seattle Stadium. Seattle Stadium, at least they believe. I've only been to one game, and I've been to dozens of Arrowhead games. You can create a structure in a way that preserves the noise of what Arrowhead is. The people going to the game we think are going to be the same. You're still going to get up on third down and yell. You're still going to bang your chair in the new stadium for it. So, that part, to me, I'm with you. It is the atmosphere. But part of the atmosphere that is created inside Arrowhead is how excited you guys get when the game is at 3:25. How excited you guys get when the game is at 7 o'clock, because that means you get there earlier to do the actual partying things. You spend more time in the parking lot than you do inside the building for a Sunday night football game, some of you do. That's not the case in most NFL stadiums. It is, though. That's the very unique part of it. So to me, that's why I'm saying is we are now at the crossroads of, what do you think the building is? In Fenway, there is no plan to build the Red Sox a new stadium in the suburbs. No, this is our stadium. We don't want to go anywhere. We got the Green Monster. People come from around the world just to see where we play baseball at. Cameron Indoor, Allen Fieldhouse. That is what we are talking about Arrowhead being if they preserve it. It is the second oldest football stadium in the world. It is the second oldest football stadium if they do it. Or if they tear it down, they'll just build the new stadium. And there's nothing wrong with that. The stadium they build will be beautiful.
And I think fans, as much as fans of the text line are saying, I won't like the new stadium, do Yankees fans not go to New Yankee Stadium? Do Yankees fans feel a way about New Yankee? Last time I checked, Yankee Stadium is still full of Yankee fans, and it ain't the same one Yogi Berra played in. It's not. It's not the same one Derek Jeter did play in that one, but it's not the same one that he had all those big moments in. It's not the same one Babe Ruth played in. Yankees fans got over it. So as Matt Evans said, it's the $3 billion question. Do you want to make it a historic venue, or are you accepting your fans will get over it because fans are fans and you can do more things in a new place? That is the one question Clark will have to answer in the next 24 days.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, for someone who has been to Lambeau and Arrowhead, the difference is you can feel the history in Green Bay. Arrowhead doesn't have that. It's just a stadium. There's nothing to preserve. I've also been to Lambeau, too. There's also another major difference of Lambeau and Arrowhead. Lambeau is very much like Wrigley, where it is, directly in the middle of a neighborhood. People live in houses. I know people live across the street from Arrowhead. Literally, you can throw a football from somebody's house and you could hit Lambeau. It is in the middle of a stadium, kind of like how Wrigley Field is, right in the middle of a stadium. I would also say part of the reason you feel that way about Lambeau is its age. Its age. Its age contributes to it. You feel the history when you walk inside Allen Fieldhouse because you've been to so many modern basketball venues and you know that's not how this place was built. You know that. And I think feeling the history of it will certainly grow and grow and grow as it gets older. And also, as more historic things continue to happen in the building. The Chiefs didn't really have a lot of historic things happen for 30 years in the building. Sure, they had some cool moments and some cool games. They didn't win many important games in that building for a very, very long time. They are now starting to do those things. They're now starting to win AFC championship games. They are now starting to have maybe the greatest living football player in the building. So as you start to do that, you will start to feel more and more of the history. Lambeau beats you over the head with it wherever you go. Oh, trust me, the Chiefs will start to do that too as time progresses. That is in the middle of it. But when Patrick Mahomes is done and they've won 6 Super Bowls, it will be plastered all over the stadium. We are the winningest franchise in the history of the National Football League. They'll start to tell the story more of the history as the building gets older and as Mahomes and this run continues. So that's where I think the difference is. You guys can certainly tell me if I'm wrong. 913-586-7965. I don't want to make it seem like you guys don't love Arrowhead. You obviously love Arrowhead. I think one of the reasons is just that's the only football stadium we've ever had. But again, to go back to the main point is there are some buildings they would never entertain this conversation. Kansas City seems very split on the conversation. You either want Allegiant, you want SoFi, you want what the Falcons have, so you can host all of the other cool things. You can host WrestleMania, you can host the Final Four. They're not hosting the Final Four inside a renovated Arrowhead. They're not hosting WrestleMania. And at KU, for example, that's fine. We just play basketball here. We don't need concerts here. We play basketball here. That's all we do. If you're interested in it becoming a multi-use place, it just goes to kind of how I feel. The Arrowhead experience is just before the game. The game is at 3:25. We got here at 6 o'clock. We're going to eat, we're going to drink, we're going to barbecue, and we're just going to go to the game afterwards. Or it is the Chiefs play on Monday Night Football. I've taken off work. We're going to have a 12-hour party before we go to this. They can keep that at the Legends. Like, you don't have to have the structure to do that. You can keep having those amazing parties on the outside. We'll keep talking about this. And also, John Ketz is going to call in from Fox 4. We'll get his thoughts on the Missouri special session. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira Joyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Did storms hit your area? Looking for answers on the impact it made to your roof? Then it's time to schedule a zero-pressure, in-depth inspection with Century Roofing's trusted roofing experts. We will determine if enough damage exists to warrant filing a claim. See for yourself why Century Roofing has been voted Best of Johnson County for the third year in a row. Trust the pillars of strength for 35 years. KC-based and female-owned. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, girl.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Look for Mirafast at Walmart today. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Tonight, expect a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 65.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today, RENNER, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Some slowdowns happening eastbound 435 from the state line through about Holmes Road. Eastbound 435 coming out of the 435 exchange, also particularly heavy, down to about 15 miles an hour. It does ease up once you get to Sterling. Also some brake lights out of downtown. Also a few brake lights heading into downtown from the state line to about Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We are very happy right now to be joined by Jonathan Ketz. He does fantastic work with Fox 4. It is time to talk about the Missouri Special Session. John, we were talking about this before we hopped on the air. John, it is amazing that we call going to work a special session. This is just what everybody does.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Depending on who you ask, some people will say that this special session, where the priority was likely stadium funding for the Chiefs and the Royals, some people would say that shouldn't be work and that should be completely privately funded and not public tax dollars going to it. But as we saw, there was a lot of money given to the Chiefs and the Royals if they want to stay in the Show Me State.
I certainly understand that sentiment from people, right? Like, nobody likes to pay for other people's things. But I also think people that have that opinion, it's just that's not the way America works. Now, maybe we want to push back on that thinking and that belief, and you're certainly entitled to do this, but there are plenty other cities, counties around the United States that are helping pay for their professional sports teams, because we all know the penalty if you choose not to help pay. There is another city that is happy to then fit that bill.
I think you're right. The only thing that I will add is that Curtis Gregory, who is a Mizzou Tiger, who is the state senator who carried this bill, did say on the Senate committee floor, if you will, not the full Senate, but in Senate committee on Tuesday, he said the Royals have gotten offers from Salt Lake City and Nashville. Now, I don't know if I believe him. I'll be honest with you. Was that just a leveraging tactic? Yeah, probably. But you know what? He was successful. Now, he was just added onto that committee a day prior, and we all know why. The reason is he needed to, quote unquote, I'm not trying to be funny, but he needed to get this across the finish line or get this thing passed through committee so the full Senate could then take it up later. The full Senate ends up taking it up early Thursday morning, and they got this Senate bill passed, and now there is a better chance that the Chiefs and the Royals are going to stay in the Show Me State.
So you mentioned it a little bit. What got this deal done? Because they had to go to this special session to accomplish this. So there was something that went wrong a couple of weeks ago that they were able to get over for this one. What do you think that was?
The something that was wrong, I think, earlier this month was that there wasn't enough storm relief funding going to the people in the eastern side of the state that have gotten hit hard with tornadoes in the last month. So therefore, in this special session, Governor Kehoe and Republicans on his side in the state Senate jacked up the funding for the tornado victims. It went from like $25 million to $100 million. So that was the first thing. That made the Republican state senators and especially the Democratic state senators on the east side of the state more willing to support the stadium funding on the west side of the state. If you're going to give me more funding for disaster relief funding on the east side of the state, we're more likely to give you stadium funding on the west side of the state. And then the other thing that some state senators got was property tax relief. Okay, you know, even though you don't cover news as much as I do, property tax relief has been a huge problem in Jackson County, and it's been a problem in other counties here in the western part of Missouri. Therefore, if there were going to be Republican state senators, for instance, outside of Jackson County who are more conservative, that were going to support this stadium funding bill, especially the hard-right conservatives, they were going to need to have property tax relief to support this stadium funding.
Right now, we're talking to Jonathan Ketz, learning what this special session means for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals. All right, let's start with the Royals. What do you think this means for them? How much more likely is now that you believe that the stadium will be in downtown Kansas City as opposed to the site that was proposed a couple of weeks ago on 119th and Knoll?
I think it's more likely the ballpark is going to go to Washington Square Park, but I'm not counting out 119th and Knoll. And I say that because I think it would be much harder for the Royals to win a vote of the people. I mean, you and I talked about this, last week? So that's why I think Overland Park is still in play. But for the Chiefs, if they can win a vote of the people, plus they've got this Missouri funding, I think the Chiefs are much more likely to stay in Missouri because they could do both, whereas the Royals, the question is, can they get enough public funding in Kansas City, Missouri without a vote of the people?
How much of the story last week do you think was a bluff? Because the timing of it just felt very, very coincidental, right? Like, all of it where Missouri has this special session. They had bought this land on May 8th, and yet we find out 3-4 days before this special session that, we purchased this land over in Kansas, and this is maybe where we could put the stadium. How much of last week's news do you think was very coordinated to try to get this thing done?
I think it was quite coordinated. The credit goes out, though, to Thomas Freestad of the Business Journal, who was the first one to report on it. If he didn't, I mean, honestly, I don't know if anybody else would have known about it, and you wouldn't have been asking me about this. But I do think it was a leverage play, and I think that site would have been 100% critical and huge if the Missouri legislature didn't do what they did yesterday. Now the House is going to go back next week. I think they will pass the stadium bill, and I think the chances of the Royals even staying in Missouri are still large, but had the special session and the state Senate not done what they did early yesterday morning, I think the chances of the Royals moving to Overland Park probably would have been a lot greater.
You mentioned it a little bit, and I do want to get to the Chiefs portion of this because that, to me, has been the team that feels much more up in the air about what they're going to do. So we now know where some of the money is going to come from for the Royals. You mentioned the fact that you're not sure if the Royals can win a public vote if they put this on there. Where would the rest of the money come from? I imagine the Royals are going to put up some of the money. I imagine that Jackson County and Kansas City, Missouri are going to also have to come up with some of the rest. Where is the other money going to come from in order to fund this stadium?
It's private. It's private, number one. If the Royals choose Washington Square Park, it would be the city of Kansas City, Missouri. The question becomes, you and I talked about this last time as well, if the Royals choose Washington Square Park starting in the MLB season of 2031, the sales tax for them, which is a county sales tax, no longer goes to them. Therefore, if the Royals want county sales tax dollars, that's going to require a vote of Jackson County residents. So that's the thing. Would they want county sales tax dollars? Yes, but that's going to require a vote of the people. So I don't know if they're going to go back to the voters of Jackson County or not, or if they're going to be going to the voters of Kansas City, Missouri or not, or if they can do all of this, if they can get enough public funding from the city of Kansas City, Missouri, without going to a vote of the people, just having votes of their Parks Board and their city council.
So let's move now to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs this is a very interesting dilemma. Kansas will buy them a brand new, Allegiant Stadium, SoFi Stadium, the Falcon Stadium. It'll be one of the nicest stadiums in the National Football League. Or the Chiefs can renovate one of the more iconic stadiums in the National Football League. They were asked point blank, are you guys willing to commit to Missouri? They didn't answer the question and said, no, they're not willing to commit. Let's look at this from the Chiefs' perspective. What is this vote? What is this bill being passed? What does it mean for them?
I think because of the fact that the private investment for a new stadium is so much, whether the Hunt family wants to spend that money is another question, that large in amount. And number three, because this package just passed out of the state Senate, a renovation to me seems more likely for the Chiefs at Arrowhead. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's my thought, C-Dot.
No, that definitely answers the question, because there was a report from Nate Taylor that the Chiefs want a dome, and a dome would certainly open them up to do a lot of things. You can host WrestleMania. You can host the Final Four. You can host just different events when you have that structure. Yeah, you could host those things that weather won't be a factor because it's going to be indoors. I certainly can see how that appeal would be very enticing to move over to Kansas because, you could have a straight dome stadium the way that Allegiant Stadium is, or you could have a retractable roof the way that the Houston Texans have.
So again, though, I think this my question still remains. And we don't know the answer to this. Does the Hunt say, okay, a star bond allegedly could pay for up to 70% of the cost of a new stadium if the private investment is there? If these bonds are not backed by the state of Kansas, which they are not, I don't know if the private investment can truly give you 70% plus something else that we're not talking about is the Kansas Department of Commerce does not have to commit to 70%. They could commit to 60%. So if that's the case and they are only willing to give 60 or 55% of the investment to the Kansas City Chiefs, then that's why I think the Chiefs guys really have to think about the state of Missouri and Jackson County offer, because if the state is willing to invest up to 50% on the Missouri side, and that's not even including the local contribution, then the Missouri side offer is really competitive with that Kansas one.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, which deal do you think is better? Do you think it's the Missouri deal or the Kansas deal?
That's like the $3 billion question. I don't know the answer. That's a really good question, but I think the Missouri side offer is more competitive than what we have been led to believe right after the Kansas special session, say in late June of 2024.
John, are we near the end of this thing? Because, I mean, we are now 24 days away from the Star Bonds expiring in Kansas, and at least Kansas has maintained that they are not going to extend the deadline, which, to me, I don't know if you're putting the NFL team and the Major League Baseball team on the clock when you're the one trying to woo them over there, but that's another topic for another day. Do you think we're at the end of this thing where do you think in the next 3 to 4 weeks we're going to know where the Chiefs and the Royals are going to be?
I do. This again, if the Royals want a new ballpark by the 2031 Major League Baseball season, they're going to have to act. And yes, they can do 2 5-year extensions out at the Truman Sports Complex. I think that's a bad PR move if they all of a sudden say, "Oh well, we're going to extend for 5 years out at the K." Because we can't decide on a site. There's a part of me that believes the Chiefs are willing to do a renovation. I think the Royals are more up in the air as to where they want to be than the Chiefs. That's my inclination.
If you had to guess, are you expecting the Chiefs to have some sort of vote in November where the people of Jackson County are going to decide if they want to help pay for the renovation or not?
I think you are leading your listeners down a correct path.
That is Jonathan Ketz joining us on the show today with Fox 4. John, you know what the beautiful thing about this is? Any question that I forgot now, I know you're going to be on the show again at some point, and I'll remember to ask you that question.
I'm working for you.
All right. Let's go inside the mind of a Rob Brenton. Rob, you worried? I only ask because you kind of been popping wheelies for the state of Kansas for the last 6 months or so. You've been talking bad on Missouri. Now, I completely understand why you've been talking bad on Missouri for the last 6 months. But you know what they say? Deadlines make deals. And the deadline, we believe, is coming up 24 days, and the Kansas money expires. And if you didn't have something on the board, there really wasn't going to be much for you to go back and forth with. You've already made your decision. We have to go to the other side because that's where the money is. Now starts the dilemma. Now starts the arguing. We know what kind of ammunition the Missouri side has. The state is going to pay for this. The Chiefs can get their ducks in a row, can get something on the ballot. I believe a vote would pass for a renovation of Arrowhead. I believe it would pass. I'm with him. I don't think the Royals can get something passed right now. I really don't think that they can. I think some of it is that the public loves the Chiefs more than they love the Royals, where I think and this is definitely starting to turn, America is shifting. We don't want to pay for billionaire stadiums, which I would just argue everybody is paying for billionaire stadiums, but somehow Kansas City wants to be different. But again, that's neither here nor there. You know how the rules are usually different to people that you like, right? There's a joke that, Rob, you could make to me, but if somebody else comes in and couldn't, yeah, you guys will say that billionaire stuff. You'll say that to John Sherman. You ain't saying that to Clark Hunt. If Clark Hunt asks you to help pay for this renovation, you paying for it. You're paying for it. At this point, I don't know how you can be opposed to it. He charging you $400 to go to the game. He charging you $80 to park. I mean, what's an extra $30 a year to give to him? You already give him a lot of money. So I agree with that. I think the Chiefs could put this on the ballot, and I believe it would pass. I don't think the Royals can do that. I think the only way the Royals stay in Missouri is if they can get the funding and it doesn't have to go to a public vote. That is the only way at this point I think it goes downtown.
So here's the thing. And to answer your question, I remain confident that one of the teams is going to come across state line. I actually still think it's going to be the Chiefs because I agree with you. I don't think the Royals want another vote. I don't think they would win a vote. But you know what the Royals can do? They can get a stadium in Washington Park without a vote. Yeah. Because that is, I don't know all the nitty gritty of it, but the long story short is that's Parks and Rec land. The city has the money right there in their Parks and Rec budget to build the stadium for the Royals. You combine that with the Missouri Special Session results, and I think the Royals can get the stadium they want in the location they've always wanted without a vote. Check, check, and check. I still think the Chiefs are coming over because if Clark Hunt, based on Nate Taylor's reporting, is saying, I want a dome, and the word on the street is if you get a dome stadium, you get a Super Bowl. That feels like a big thing that can woo the owner of the Chiefs to make this mega decision. Now, again, tradition is a big pull of the heartstrings, but Nate Taylor last week, we broke the news. He had a story. They want a dome. Today on Cody and Gold, he's talking about how a dome would result in a Super Bowl. Like, I feel like those things are coming out right now, not because Clark Hunt is trying to, throw water on the Kansas side. It feels like he's pushing toward a Kansas move.
I want you to think about this, and we'll answer it on the other side. If only one side has, at no point in the last year have we discussed the Chiefs getting a new stadium in Missouri. If this is solely I want a dome, why have they not just agreed to the Kansas deal? That is the only one that gives them what you're talking about. We are not talking about them putting a dome on a stadium that was built in 1972. That doesn't seem very realistic to have that conversation. The only option, if you were saying is, you know how, let's say you were looking for a new place to live, right? And you were going through what matters to you. Does schools matter to you? How close it is to your job? If you were making a checklist of what you want in your new house, well, if dome is number one, then why haven't you just agreed then? One side, I don't care what financial package Missouri comes up with. It does not include you getting the Final Four. It does not include you getting the WrestleMania. It does not include you getting, if that was the case, you would have already had those things, and the thing's been open since 1972. So I would like that answer. If that's the number one thing on their list, why have they not just agreed to the Kansas deal and we just all could have moved on with our life? We'll talk about that next. Keep right here, it's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
So summer is here, and that is barbecue season. Well, we live in Kansas City, so it's barbecue season 24/7, 365, 366 in a leap year. But this is a little bit different. This just isn't you going to Gates Barbecue to get the best barbecue in the world. This is also you grilling for your family. So whether you're throwing a couple hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill or really you getting down on the grill, you got some fish, you got some salmon, you got some seafood going out there. You got some steaks. You want to make sure that you got the right sauces and seasoning. So you know Gates has got you covered. Whether you stop by any of the Area 5 locations or the next time you go to the grocery store, you got to make sure for your cookout, your barbecue, you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates sauce, and you got to make sure that you have the classic Gates seasoning. Or maybe you have no clue how to grill, but you know what you can do. You can swipe your debit card and go buy some of the best barbecue. So stop by any one of the Area 5 locations and pick up those classic Gates menu items, whether it's the beef on bun, heavy on the sauce with the fries and the strawberry pop. Maybe you go get the Gates mix plate. Maybe you go get yourself a half slab of ribs. Maybe you're getting a platter because you're having a watch party as the basketball season is coming to a close. Whatever your barbecue needs are, whether you're throwing something on the grill or simply want something to eat, telling you Gates has you taken care of at any one of your Area 5 locations. Check out the website, gatesbbq.com. They got you taken care of all summer at Gates Barbecue.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
If Twisted Tea was your best friend, they'd start a dance party in the supermarket that turns into a pool party at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea is smooth, refreshing, and always fun. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If Twisted Tea was your best friend, they'd start a dance party in the supermarket that turns into a pool party at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea is smooth, refreshing, and always fun. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
But what he'll never have is the love I have for you.
What He'll Never Have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
And Till I Can, I Will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's First Inning Friday on FanDuel, where every week FanDuel is hooking all customers up with a special offer you can use on early game MLB action. Put your baseball knowledge to the test from the very first swing with no runs and yes runs first inning bets. Will anyone score in the game's first frame? Check out each team's season stats right there on the FanDuel app and make the call. Every First Inning Friday, you can expect a special reward, like a profit boost, no sweat bet, or more, so make sure and come back every week to take another swing. How many strikeouts will a Royals pitcher get in the first inning? Or maybe you think there's going to be a home run or two, all available on FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex, America's #1 sportsbook, and make every moment more. 21 and present in Kansas. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park and Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Step up to the plate and hit a home run with Casey's best airport parking. It's Park and Go. Great service, low price, zero hassle, open 24/7, and all spots are covered. Don't get caught looking. Strike three. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Copy 71 southbound. Also seeing some slowdown 69 southbound from about 179th Street through 167th. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, Rob, before we took a break, I asked you this question. I think we all do this in anything. If you are planning on buying a new car, you write down the things that are most important to you. Is it a convertible? Is it gas mileage? Do you want an SUV? We all make these decisions whenever we are planning on making a purchase. What do you value the most? What's important to you? If dome is the #1 thing that the Chiefs want, There's only one of the two states that are offering this up. Why has it been an entire year and they just haven't taken we want a brand new dome stadium? The text line is saying it's like Shark Tank. You got to take both deals. This is my question. Now, this is my Missouri antennas that are perking up. We didn't start believing this about the Chiefs until 2 weeks ago. We have not been talking about the Chiefs' number one priority is a dome until, shockingly enough, the deadline is about to expire in Kansas, and then Missouri has a special session. And I love Nate Taylor. All of a sudden, in the New York Times, it's, Clark really wants a dome. Wait, what? Just last year, you put together a renovation package to stay at Arrowhead. Last year. When was a dome your number one priority all of a sudden? Now you can't live without the Final Four? So my antennas are just up a little bit for this. The whole timing of us now having the conversation about what the Chiefs want to do, it just kind of like out of nowhere, the Royals just bought this space on 119th and Knoll. And they had bought it for 3 weeks. We had never known about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, by the way, we did this the Friday before Missouri's supposed to vote on this thing. I'm sorry. Part of me's just not buying it because I can find you quotes where Clark said literally the exact opposite about outdoor football. The exact opposite. Well, we think that outdoor football is really important. We think that gives us an advantage. Well, last time I checked, the dome ain't outdoors. So you're just going to give the advantage up now? You're just going to give the advantage up. There have only been 3 teams that have won the Dome 3 Dome teams that have won in the last 50 years of the Super Bowl.
I do have the same thought. Oh, the antennas are up. To answer your question about why they haven't just pulled the trigger on the Kansas offer yet, I think the answer is A, the Shark Tank thing, and I do think there's a PR element at play here. I think the Chiefs have to understand what me, you, and the text line and fans understand. There is an emotional connection with Arrowhead and the fan base. Now, to what level we talked about earlier, we can disagree, but there is a level of emotional connection between Arrowhead and the fan base. And I think Clark Hunt and Chiefs, and if they are to move to Kansas and the powers that be, need to do this running a thread through a needle. It is a very precise PR move. And to do that, you have to start having articles come out that say things like, the Chiefs want a dome. You have to start gaining word of mouth that, hey, a Super Bowl could come to town. You're probably going to see renderings in the next 2 weeks. I don't know who's going to drop the renderings, but renderings are coming. That day is not in the not-so-distant future about a Chiefs village and a Chiefs stadium and a Chiefs practice facility that looks just unbelievable. Renderings are coming. I think the Chiefs are beginning, based on Nate Taylor's story, a PR battle that sways the fan base to go from, man, we love Arrowhead, to start to shift to think, man, we'd love a Super Bowl. We'd love a Final Four. We'd love more Taylor Swift concerts. We'd love a Formula One event. Whatever the thing, I think Dome and Super Bowl stuff getting out there now is the beginning of a marketing blitz that is designed to get fans who love Arrowhead to come around to the conclusion, oh, I love a lot of the new bells and whistles. And by the time the 30th comes, that PR campaign will come to a crescendo with them picking Kansas. That's why I think they haven't. That's my theory, my opinion on why I think they've waited so long. I think they are beginning a PR move, and the timing just works out perfectly that we are 2.5 weeks away, and I bet stories are not done coming out about the future of a new Arrowhead.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, Clark and the Chiefs have gushed about Vegas and LA every game they've played there. That's not new. I also think it's important to know they've also played 2 Super Bowls in those buildings. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have a very positive experience, too, if we've gone to the Super Bowl in these places. And those are the 2 newest stadiums in the league. What is there not to like about those 2 stadiums? Again, if you were telling me that the Chiefs just simply want a brand new stadium, then there's really not much to discuss. There's only one option that gives them a brand new stadium. It's in Kansas. If they come out and just say, hey, you know what, man, I love Allegiant. I think Allegiant is beautiful. And I have a vision of building a stadium for my own. This was my dad's stadium. I want my own stadium, and we now have that opportunity. That would make sense to me. But it also, again, like we can find at various steps of these, for every "we want a dome, we love Allegiant," I can find you a quote that directly contradicts that, and he tells you how Arrowhead is so special, how it's the next Lambeau Field, how outdoor football is really important, and we don't want to go anywhere. We want to stay here for the next 30 years. He's been playing this game right in front of us for 5 years. Like, it's obvious what's happening. What the Chiefs are doing is they can't play St. Louis against us. They're not playing Salt Lake City against us. They're basically playing Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas against one each other. Well, I mean, over here, they've been doing that right in front of us for a year. Now, right before the vote, we really want a dome. Okay, all right. Well, good luck. I'm not surprised, but the Missouri Senator, Curtis Gregory, said that Salt Lake City and Nashville called the Royals and made an offer after the vote failed. Salt Lake City? If there's a city, that's not a city I want to lose a team to. I'm going to be real with you. I don't want to lose. You don't want to lose no team to Salt Lake City.
You'd accept a Nashville loss. But but Salt Lake City?
You've really failed if your team's about to move to Salt Lake City.
I don't know, man. That Hulu show, Moms of TikTok or Mormon Wives of TikTok, is pretty popular.
I'm serious. You've honestly really lost if Salt Lake City can come take your gal away from you. You've done something really, really poorly. I would have laughed at Salt Lake City if I was John Sherman. I'd have laughed at him. Nashville, like, oh, okay, all right. Hey, you know what? Why don't you guys send me something over and let me look at it? I'm not taking that Salt Lake City call. Rob, do you know somebody who's ever gone to Salt Lake City on a vacation?
I have a family member there, so that doesn't count. Like they went to go see family.
Like when you look at the United States map, and there's like ticket deals. You know how on Southwest they always give you those $59 flights that are only for Tuesday at 1 p.m. You can't go anywhere else. It's a Tuesday 1 p.m. and you got to stay there for 2 weeks. Have you ever just been like, man, you know what? I want to go to Salt Lake City. No one's ever said that.
I have never said that. I think avid skiers say that. And you know what? We aren't skiers.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're an avid skier, like I'm flying over Vail and I'm flying over Colorado to go to Utah.
Price? It's cheaper to stay in Salt Lake than Vail?
Yeah, because it's whack. That's why. Because don't nobody want to go there.
I'm just answering the question as you laid it out.
Because don't nobody want to go there. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get you ready for the Royals series against the White Sox. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic heavy 71 southbound. Also seeing some slowdown 69 southbound from about 179th Street through 167th. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
It's First Inning Friday on FanDuel, where every week FanDuel is hooking all customers up with a special offer you can use on all early game MLB action. Put your baseball knowledge to the test from the very first swing with no or yes runs in the first inning. Will anyone score in the inning's first frame? Well, check each team's season stats right there on the FanDuel app, and you can make the call for yourself. Every First Inning Friday, you can expect a special reward like a profit boost token, no sweat bet, or more. So just make sure that you come back every single week so you can take another swing. So step up to the plate with FanDuel. Use my promo code, FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use America's #1 sportsbook app, and remember to make every moment more. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bag. Retire 7 days and receive return supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
In a world parched for excitement, Twisted Tea's your refreshing thrill ride of flavor. The hard iced tea that's smooth, made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
In a world parched for excitement, Twisted Tea's your refreshing thrill ride of flavor. The hard iced tea that's smooth, made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across their multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where our testosterone therapy can help you sleep better, improve your sex drive, give you better gains in the gym, and more. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is Matt. I've been a patient of Heartland Men's Health for over a year now, utilizing their low T treatment. I woke up one day and realized that I was twice the guy I used to be, and my energy was half of what it was. I made the decision to come into Heartland Men's Health just wanting to feel better and trying to find a solution to why I was tired all the time. And the results that I've gotten brought me back to being myself. It brought me back to being the best spouse I can be, to being the best father I can be. Any of my friends that ask me, they see me, they're like, you're a different person, or they're like, what are you doing? Guys, if anything I've said today resonates with you or makes you think that this might be a good place for you to come get checked out, meet with a specialist here and get your life back on track and feeling better.
Thank you. It's true. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey there, Royals fans. We've got more ways to watch your boys in blue this season than ever before with FanDuel Sports Network. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream all the action, or, new this season, Royals Baseball is now available on Amazon Prime Video as an add-on subscription. You can also access FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers like DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Royals.com/TV to learn more.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really happy to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Rob, if you can you get maybe the best, 4 or 5 minutes from Matt Evans? I want people to hear what he had to say about the stadium. I'll give you guys some of my thoughts on the stadiums. We'll play what Matt Evans had to say about the stadium. We'll talk a little Aaron Rodgers. We'll just kind of make this a smorgasbord. We only got 30 minutes left in this show. So maybe to explain what we've been talking about, if you were just now tuning in, is that the state of Missouri, they have come up with their stadium funding package. So I know a lot of you have asked this question. The money is earmarked for a brand new stadium for the Royals and a stadium renovation for the Chiefs. So this money cannot be used for the Chiefs just tearing down Arrowhead and then building a new Arrowhead. That's not what the money is for. The money is for either a new Royal Stadium at some place in the state of Missouri. So whether that's in downtown, whether that's in Clay County, hey, y'all still figure that out. But here's where some of the money is going to come from. And then a renovation of Arrowhead. There's kind of twofold here. I still believe, and maybe this flies in the face of what we just saw with the purchase of the land over on 119th and all. I think the Royals' number one goal is to be in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. I think that this bill obviously helps that tremendously. Now, they still got other hurdles. This only pays for some of the stadium the new stadium. Doesn't pay for all of it. It just pays for some. And I don't believe that the Royals want to put this back on the ballot and fail again. So they're going to have to figure out another way. Some's going to be some private money. Some's going to be some money that gets earmarked for the city that they kind of move some things around. If the city really wants to make this work, I think they will try to make it work to keep the Royals in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, the Chiefs are a very different deal. I think the Chiefs have choices. And I think they are now faced with maybe the biggest fork in the road, certainly in my lifetime, from where the stadium is going to be. There are two paths, and I don't think that both paths are bad. I know that I live in Kansas City, Missouri, born and bred Missourian, but I've told you guys, like, them moving to Kansas is not the worst thing in the world. That's not what I want, but, I mean, if they move the stadium where now it's a 15-minute drive in one direction and they just put it in a 20-minute drive in the other direction, again, it's not the worst thing that can happen. I haven't been to a Chiefs game since COVID. So it's not going to change me watching the game on television. I'll be fine. So they are now faced with two decisions. One decision is, do they want to be the Packers? The Chiefs currently have the second oldest stadium in the National Football League. Everybody else has either built their stadium or is in the process of building another stadium. The Titans are building a new stadium. The Bills are building a new stadium. The Browns just announced a new stadium. The Chicago Bears are trying to figure out where their stadium is going to be. And a lot of those teams are doing basically what the Chiefs are thinking about doing. They're taking a stadium that is in the city and they plan on moving to the suburbs. We've seen this in other sports, but that is quite literally what the Bears are doing. If you've been to Chicago, their football stadium is in downtown Chicago. They are planning on moving it to Arlington Park. They're planning on moving it out of the city. That's what the Browns are doing. This is not a new concept. That is one thing that the Chiefs can do. They can build, and there's no question, with the architecture minds that we have here in the 816, 91, there's no question in my mind that they will build one of the most beautiful football stadiums that we have ever seen, that will be built specifically to accommodate everything that they want to do. If you want a championship level boxing match, if you want the Final Four, if you want WrestleMania, if you want to host a Super Bowl, there is no question in my mind that they will be in line to do that, as they will have one of the most beautiful stadiums in the country. It will be what the Raiders have. It'll be what the Falcons have. It will be amazing what they will build. So that's number one. If that's the option that they choose, again, I'm not going to tell you that's a bad option, that the Chiefs get the brand new, shiny, one day host the Super Bowl and WrestleMania 60. It will not be the worst thing that could potentially happen. On the other side, the Chiefs have a chance of being the Packers. They have a chance of being the Cubs. They have a chance of being the Red Sox, an iconic, historic venue that people will come from around the world to see because of how old it is. If you've been to Lambeau, it's amazing. If you've been to Wrigley, it's amazing. part of what makes it so amazing is how long it's been there. Allen Fieldhouse, when you go in there, you realize that you are walking in a very special building, that they've been playing basketball here for quite some time. That matters. That's really important. The question now is, do the Chiefs want to preserve that? That's really what we're debating now. The money, I think, is pretty comparable. Let's say that the Chiefs take the Kansas route. I mean, that's a pretty substantial amount of money, and they'll figure out the rest of it because Kansas can pay up to 70% of it. On the Missouri side, they've paid for a big part. Now, they would have to probably get a vote, but I think if the vote is very simple, hey, we're going to do a slight tax, and this tax is going to be earmarked for the purposes of helping renovate Arrowhead, I think that would pass in Jackson County. So I think at this part, the money is really, really comparable on both sides. Now the question is, and none of us have the answer to, I don't know. I think we'll find out at some point between now and the 4th of July. It's what do the Chiefs want to be? If they just want to be a team that tears down the old stadium and builds a new stadium, that's fine. That's in line with what a lot of current teams are doing in the National Football League. But, I mean, they are really the last of a dying breed. Some of the stadiums that you and I heard of when we were kids, and all those stadiums have gotten torn down for the most part. They tore down Yankee Stadium. They tore down Busch Stadium. They tore down Mile High Field and just built a new one. Like, a lot of teams, a lot of cities, a lot of organizations have come to this crossroad, and they have just made the decision to start over and start new. That is now the question that the Chiefs have in front of them about what they want to do. The Royals made that decision a long time ago. Our stadium is not Yankee Stadium. Our stadium is not these. We're just going to build a new one. We think that's in the best interest. So we all love the Truman Sports Complex. One of the teams is 100% leaving the Truman Sports Complex. And now I think we are 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks away from finding out if 2 teams are going to leave the Truman Sports Complex.
I think now, I've been Team Kansas for the whole thing here, the whole time. But I think now, to credit Missouri, for the first time since probably the vote in April of 24, I feel like it is a competitive offer on both sides of the state line, and it is now just a question of which side do you want. We can talk about both sides' deals, the better financial package, history over here, you can build new locationally for the Royals, you have the land over it. But for the first time since this conversation began, when John Sherman said to Annie Rogers in surprise, I think for the first time it is truly 2 competitive offers, and it is just a matter of what the teams want. And we will find out. The Royals have always said they want downtown baseball. I think they can still get that. Let's see if they do. They bought the land on 119th and Knoll. That's not downtown, but let's see if they take the better financial deal or the downtown baseball. The Chiefs are way more fascinating to me than the Royals because we kind of don't know what they want. Do they want new, shiny, dome, Final Four, WrestleMania, type stadium? We know where they can get that. Or do they want to make Arrowhead, Wrigley Field, just out the Truman Sports Complex, and a mecca, a cathedral of football for Kansas City fans for years and years and years to come? They can do that by renovating the current Arrowhead Stadium. So it is truly, for the first time since it went on the ballot, when it was just one county's offer, a legitimate 50-50 proposition on both sides of the state line. And I said this earlier, and we talked about it at the end of the 4 o'clock hour. I do think it's noteworthy that even if you are a hardline Missouri person and one of the teams goes across the state line, it does not feel like either team is leaving the metro area. Maybe you don't think Overland Park's the metro area. Whatever. It's closer than Salt Lake, and it's closer than Nashville, and it feels like the Royals at least had offers. And we know San Antonio was at least on social media posturing to get the Chiefs at one point, and both teams are at least going to stay Kansas City based for the foreseeable future, which I take as a win because we've seen like this before, Carrington, where teams are talking about moving. Ask the Rams fans how that goes. Ask Chargers fans how that goes. Ask Raiders, A's, and Golden State Warriors fans how that goes. Sometimes talking about leaving isn't the suburbs, it's Salt Lake.
Yeah, I also, as somebody who just went to the Rams' old stadium earlier this week, I kind of see why the Rams were like, hey, you know what? This stadium ain't going to work no more. I kind of, you know what? I saw it with a pretty clear view earlier this week of, I get it, especially when one option is SoFi Stadium and the other option is where they got you playing. You know what? It makes sense to me why the Rams eventually moved. Really quick, and I'll play this Matt Evans thing. I also think this. I think the Chiefs are weighing the best offer. Like, I think the Chiefs have always been, we want somebody else to pay for our stadium. We want somebody else to pay for our renovation. We're not that interested in putting up a lot of our own money to pay for this thing. So let's get all the information, let's get all the data, and then let's go from there. I think the Royals are looking for a reason to stay in downtown. I just everything about it. I don't think the Chiefs want to move to 119th and all. I think they are unafraid if they have to. Like, hey, you know, if we can't reach a deal, we've tried this thing, we tried it. That's our number one option, but we just didn't get accepted to that university. But I think it's pretty clear what college in this analogy that the Royals really want to go to. The Royals want to be downtown. That's the vision. I don't think when John Sherman bought the Royals, his vision was to move it across the street from Bamboo Penny. I don't think that was his vision. I think his vision was in downtown Kansas City. His vision might not come true, but I think it is obvious what the Royals want to do. I don't know if it's very obvious what the Chiefs want to do, and I think that's what makes this a very interesting topic. We had Matt Evans on the show earlier. He is with Channel 9. We asked him, which team is this better for? Is this better for the Chiefs or the Royals? Here's what he said.
That's a good question. You know, I think it's good for both of them, but maybe better for the Chiefs because we heard from the teams that they still need local funding, and that this bill includes that too. Like, there still needs to be another vote. A lot of people aren't talking about that, but there still needs to be a vote, whether that's this November or next year. Another vote of the people is going to be required for both of these teams. And it's going to be a lot easier for the Chiefs to get a vote done in Jackson County than the Royals. We just know that. And we also learned a lot more about the Chiefs' plans at Arrowhead Stadium. We learned that they would spend $1.15 billion with a B to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. Also, the Chiefs lobbyist said, you know, the deal might not be as good in Missouri. The numbers might not be there, but no stadium is ever going to be like Arrowhead. He admitted that if they go to Kansas, it'll be a domed stadium. He admitted it'll never be the loudest stadium in the world again. It's clear that the Chiefs love Arrowhead, and they want to try and see if they can make that work. As far as the Royals are concerned, I think it's still a potential good deal for them if they're going to wind up downtown or in Clay County. That's the big question. And again, a public vote is going to be needed, and we saw what happened with the last public vote, which had the Chiefs attached to it too, but a lot of people were really caught up in the Royals' plans of all of that. And then they've polled it out in Clay County as well, and there's been different polls done, and some of those aren't as good as others. So, I mean, I think if the Chiefs are looking at this, they love Arrowhead. This gives them a very clear, easier path to stay there than it was before.
So let's start with the Royals. Do you see a scenario in which the Royals can get a new stadium in Missouri without this having to go to a vote? Because I think you and I agree, and maybe you disagree, where if the Chiefs and Clark Hunt put a really good renovation plan on the ballot for Jackson County in November, I believe that would pass. I'm not really sure if Jackson County is going to vote to give the Royals any money for this thing, so they're going to have to push this through without a public vote. Do you see a scenario in which the Royals get a new stadium in downtown or Washington Square Park without this having to go to a vote?
Potentially. I mean, you could potentially find a way in the county and the city coffers to put up some money. So the way this Missouri bill works, right, it says that there still needs to be significant local funding. Now, it doesn't spell out exactly what that means. So if that's a sales tax, if that's bonds, I don't know. It could be potentially there could be a path there. The Royals lobbyist was not as clear about that. The Chiefs lobbyist was very clear. We're still going to ask Jackson County taxpayers for a vote. And whether that's a full 3/8 cents or if maybe they knock it down a little bit, I don't know. But the Chiefs lobbyist is very clear. We're still going to need a public vote if we're going to stay. The Royals lobbyist was not as clear because they still haven't chosen exactly where they want to go. But I do agree. I think if the Royals have another vote in Jackson County, it's going to be tough to pass. I think the Chiefs vote could probably get done. A Royals vote in Clay County isn't exactly a slam dunk either. So, we'll have to see exactly where they choose. And exactly what the county and the city can offer. And if there's a way to get this done without a public vote, they're going to take it.
I do want to go back to maybe more specifics about the two teams, but it feels to me like we are wrapping this thing up. Like if this is a baseball game, we are heading into the 8th inning of all of this. Is that how you kind of see it? We have the deadline coming up in 24 days on the Kansas side. There's been a bill passed in Missouri. There's been this information on Kansas that's been out there for a year. So this doesn't feel like this conversation is going to drag into training camp, for example. It feels like we're about to wrap this thing up.
I think so. And Kansas has made it very clear that they are not going to extend that Star Bonds proposal. So they've had it out there for a year. They've said the teams have had plenty of time to negotiate and talk it over. They're not interested in extending it. So I do think in hearing from both team representatives, they have both said that they will make a decision in the month of June between the Missouri and Kansas plans right now. Now, there's also a chance they choose neither and explore other options. I mean, but it's tough. I do think we are nearing the end of it, and I think there is an awful lot of fatigue out there about exactly what the deal is, where they're going to go, and I think probably most of your listeners would agree. Just choose somewhere already. You know, we've been talking about this ad nauseum for years now. You know, and I think a lot of people are kind of getting to that point. It's like, okay, let's choose, and I think that time is sooner rather than later.
That was Matt Evans. It was really, really good today. I would highly encourage you to check it out on 96.5 The Fan, the Odyssey app, the website, all of that stuff. Really good stuff. Just wanted to play a little bit of a chunk for you guys. I will say this. I believe we are nearing the end of this. I believe if you are buying the Kansas, we are not moving our deadline, then this is going to be wrapped up by the 4th of July. Now, I'm sure we will continue talking about it after the 4th of July, but, I mean, I believe we are nearing the end of this conversation. It has taken up a lot of my life. I imagine it's taken up a lot of your time, and I'm ready to move on, too. I'm ready to move on as well. I don't believe that we have too much more of this to get to. Rob, before we sign off for the day, Game 1 yesterday between the Pacers and the Thunder. Tyrese Halliburton is special. I remember J.C. Pearson told me this. He says, some people just have that dog, and it's something that you just can't teach. Like, you cannot put it in somebody. They have to be born with it. They have to have it. And as I watched Tyrese Halliburton hit that shot, and I've seen him make that shot at every stage of this NBA playoffs, that quote came back to me. He has it. We watch a lot of sports. There's some quarterbacks that don't want anything to do with in-game situations. There are some players that call themselves superstars in the NBA that do not want the ball with 20 seconds left on the shot clock and the game is on the line. Aaron Judge is an amazing player. Aaron Judge is really bad in the postseason. Then there are those special group of guys that just seem to elevate their play and seem to get better in the postseason. Tyrese Halliburton was okay yesterday. Wasn't great. This wasn't a 30, 11 rebounds and 9 assists a day. He just made enough plays at the end, and if you keep the game close, he will find a way to end you, and that is exactly what he did yesterday. I would argue that that is the biggest upset in the NBA Finals in an individual game since the Pistons beat the Lakers. Back with that 04. Just no one was picking the Pacers yesterday. They were 9.5-point dogs. I saw something that if you were a 7-point favorite or higher in game 1, you were like 19-1 in your last 20. They had a 13-point lead entering the fourth quarter. They had an 8-point lead with 3 minutes to go. They lost in regulation at home, and they were the more rested team, and they were the better team out of them. The Pacers have just had an incredible last 6 weeks, and at every turn, people have told the Pacers, you can't win this series. They were the underdogs in the series against the Knicks. They just continue to prove people wrong. I still think the Thunder win this series, but you got to tip your cap to Tyrese Halliburton, who was phenomenal yesterday in game 1. All right, we are off. We hand things over to Josh Vernier. Vernier's going to get you ready for Royals and White Sox. Jack Caglione's 4th Major League game. In fact, Rob and I will be at Jack Caglione's first Royals game, his Royals debut. We will be outside Gate D on Tuesday, so be sure to put that in your calendar if you plan on coming out to Kauffman Stadium. I'm out of here. Rob is out of here. Really appreciate you guys listening. Before we're out of here, you know what? I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 965, The Fan.